Tonight on the Black Channel. Well, I guess we should go ahead and start off by announcing here that YouTube is probably going to pretty heavily censor me tonight because it took almost a minute for the live stream to actually start after I pressed start on it. So usually it only takes about 5 or 6 seconds, but this time it took almost a whole minute. So very clearly YouTube plans on heavily censoring me, and I'm going to give them what they came for. All right. Well, folks here, I've been saying this, and my job here is to keep you socially and politically ahead of the curve. Not just talking about what is happening, but to be able to accurately and properly predict what will happen. Now, I've been saying for the longest time here that watch the Democrats, watch what they do, more importantly, watch what they don't do. Donald Trump winning the election, the question is, what are the Democrats going to do in response to it? Are they going to finally break down and say, hey, we need to do more for you? We've been trying to play dumb with you. We've been trying to ignore you. And now we're going to get back on the good foot. Or are they saying, well, so you all are throwing a temper tantrum and you let Donald Trump win. We're just going to sit back and we're just going to wait for Donald Trump to make an ass of himself. And our strategy is not to entice you to vote for us, but for the opposition to become so unacceptable. We're just going to wait for him to become so ridiculous and unacceptable that you will become offended. And then you're going to slide back over and vote for us begrudgingly. But we don't care if you vote for us begrudgingly or happily, just so long as you do it. And this week was another reminder, not only that it can happen, but that it will. If you haven't seen the videos of the very public Jerry Springer-ish blow-up between Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky from Ukraine, Donald Trump went into full Jerry Springer mode. It was outrageously unprofessional, unpresidential. Him and J.D. Vance both showed the clown car was moving at full speed. They're not ready for prime time. They're not ready for late night. It was absolutely disgraceful and ridiculous. You could not imagine Barack Obama doing such a thing. You could not imagine Bill Clinton doing such a thing. You couldn't imagine George W. Bush doing such a thing. So Donald Trump and the clown car were on full display. They were on full display. And it was ridiculous. There's nobody out there saying, hey, let us bring our nations to come together with the U.S. after this. It was stupid. It was dumb. Vladimir Putin is only slightly more popular than COVID or herpes. And now you're looking like you're over there. So it's ridiculous as it goes. Now, there are some folks on the slow bus who don't quite understand what's going on with Ukraine and why that was stupid. So I would advise people there to ease back on some of their judgment before they realize what in the world is actually going on. Because that's an all villains cast over there, but it's an all villains cast with some rather ominous overtones. So geoglobal politics, most people don't even understand it. They don't understand what the players are. They couldn't find Ukraine on the map with a seeing eye dog and glowing green letters. But in any case, Donald Trump certainly, James Carville said that Trump's presidency would implode within the next 30 calendar days. He said that last week. I'm like barely a week out. Yeah, we're on our way. So get ready for Bedlam. It's already here. There's no benefit to this. There's no benefit. Not at all. Period. So for the slow bus kids, this does tell me how this gets you ahead. It doesn't. I know some of y'all, you're used to your mama fighting with your daddy over child support. So people sitting there screaming at each other and whatnot, you think that's constructive, but okay, fine. In the real world, if you saw that happening at your bank, you wouldn't think that your banker was gangster. You would think that your banker was pretty messy. That's not the way you do business. That's certainly not professional or adult. But once again, I guess it depends on how you were raised. But it does bring up one thing here. The Democrats are hoping that that's going to help them. They're hoping that Donald Trump's innate dysfunction, that the Democrats won't have to actually change anything. That the Democrats can continue doing exactly what they're doing. That's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that's what will occur. That Donald Trump will be so messy and so bad that the Democrats will be required to change nothing that they do, and that people are going to vote for the lesser of two evils. That's what they're hoping on. And I'm here to tell you all that I'm sounding the alarm about that. And I'm making sure that folks understand that let's keep our heads straight here about what to do. And also acknowledging and observing other people in that regard about what do you do? What do you do? How do you deal with elected leaders who see you as the problem, who see you as the issue? What is the mindset that you have about it? That's the thing. I want to discuss the mindset. What do you do with the Democrat Party that has decided that they're going to do everything except work for you? Let me go ahead and give you case in point. Case in point here, Congressional Black Caucus, also known as the Congressional Black Caucus. Jasmine Crockett, who thinks that being sassy is actually a substitute for being competent. They're sitting up here upset because the Republicans have passed a budget resolution. They haven't passed a budget. There is no budget. It's a budget resolution for those of you who don't actually understand how it works. But it's a budget resolution. Jasmine Crockett epitomizes the issue and the problem in one fell swoop. And she says, this is what the deal with the devil looks like. House GOP just voted to cut Medicaid, SNAP benefits as food stamps, school meals, and housing assistance, all in exchange for giving corporations and billionaires tax cuts at the expense of the middle class. Now, here's the thing. The Democratic Party is not championing any of the issues that we're discussing. The Democrat Party has become the party of the very old and the LGBT. They become the party of the old and the gay. That's who they are. They're the party of the very old and the very LGBT. How many of us are sitting around and have ever had a program talking about the necessity of Medicaid or Medicare? Think about that for just a few moments. How many times have you all gotten together and said, Jason, I wish we had a Democrat who would actually give us Medicare and Medicaid? That's the big major issue facing us in New York, in Atlanta, in DC, in Miami, in Chicago, in Little Rock. How many of you have said up here, how many times you go on YouTube and seen videos that you went looking for a video and looking for someone talking about Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, Section 8 vouchers? When have you ever gone looking for that and said, damn, I wish somebody was talking about Medicare and Medicaid and food stamps? Now, if your grandmama could use Twitter or YouTube, she'd probably be furiously typing away at that. But then again, there's no reason to, because nobody's doing anything to their Medicare or their food stamps or their Medicaid. Nobody's doing anything to it. At the very least, they will simply reduce its rate of growth, but nobody is going to actually do what needs to be done and cut back on it. It's not going anywhere, and Jasmine Crockett understands this, which is why she's on the internet talking to a bunch of elderly people who are not on the internet, irony of ironies, about issue, and the folk who are reading it, these are not our issues, and she knows these are not our issues. But then again, she is summarily incompetent to be able to deal with our actual issues. So they get together to figure out how they can hoodwink us. Remember, we're playing against white supremacy, but the Congressional Black Caucus sees itself as playing against us. We're playing against the power structure, but the Congressional Black Caucus sees itself as playing against us. So the things that she's naming right there on the screen, you see them. This is what she's championing, and we're not asking about any of that. That is not our biggest concern. What we're talking about is the solution to all of that she has on that screen. But you notice she's not talking about that, and boy, we're going to get heavy deep off into the soil of it here tonight. So it's going to be a bit of a wonky discussion tonight, but I got to get deep off into the politics of this And do the Democrats have a plan? They are in disarray. They are in chaos. What is the plan? Very clearly, their plan is to simply wait until Trump becomes unacceptable and hope that they can peel off just enough voters to get themselves back into power so that they can continue doing what they've been doing, which is absolutely nothing. Now, there's the issue. They're hoping that that's the way it goes down, that they won't have to actually change anything. Yeah, they got a bloody nose back in 2024, but we'll just hold still, wait for Trump to screw up enough that enough people don't like him anymore that they shift back over here to us. And that's what they're doing. And I'm putting the spotlight on that because I want you to understand that the more things change, the more they don't change. Let me give you an example here. Well, before I get deep off let me just go ahead and jump off into that. Let me just go ahead and do that. Here you got, folks, you got Governor Cuomo, former Governor Cuomo. He was sitting up here and he's put up a website where he's announced that he wants to run for mayor of New York. It is official that he is running for mayor of New York. It's a 17-minute video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I am going to tell you I need to play some good portions of this because I need you to listen to what he had to say. I need you to listen to this because this gives us a perfect preview and a perfect illustration of what the Democrats intend to do going forward. This is back to the future, or should I say backwards to the future. They grabbed some old person entrenched in politics, been in it for decades, never did anything that actually reflected positively before him. And by the way, he's going to prove every word I'm saying is correct. So they go back to the old swamp and the old sawmill. That's what they end up doing. And he's here to let you know, by the way, let's go ahead and put life on rewind.
6% increase. We saved lives by enacting the toughest gun violence. Feels threatening. Having the strength, having the courage to recognize it. And we know that today our New York City is in trouble.
Yeah, the city is in trouble, but it's been in trouble for a while, and you had a good part to play in that. Let's see if he acknowledges any of that.
Feel it when you walk down the street and try not to make eye contact with a mentally ill homeless person.
Okay, New Yorkers don't make eye contact with anybody. Let's be very, very clear. New Yorkers, I'm from Louisiana. We say hello to perfect strangers as a normal course of being walking down the street. Since when have New Yorkers ever made eye contact with anybody that they weren't getting ready to beat the hell out of? What is he talking about? I'm from Louisiana and I know this. Who in the hell in New York goes around making the waitress at your restaurant is the only New Yorker that makes eye contact with a person. That's it. Walking down the street, New Yorkers do not make eye contact with anybody. Not even the people they're walking with. They walk side by side. What the hell is he talking about?
Having the courage to recognize it. And we know that today our New York City is in trouble. You feel it when you walk down the street and try not to make eye contact with a mentally ill homeless person, or when the anxiety rises up in your chest as you're walking down into the subway. You see it in the empty storefronts, the graffiti, the grime, the migrant influx, the random violence. The city just...
Well, boy, he seems to... All these things he's talking about, which, by the way, he presided over as governor. I mean, I'm glad to see that he knows the rundown of these things. Since they happened on his watch, I'm very glad that he knows about it. So he can give you the whole laundry list, but couldn't help but notice he presided over it as governor. So it's very interesting.
Feels threatening, out of control, and in crisis. These conditions exist not as an act of God, but rather as an act of our political leaders.
Does that include you? You know, former governor? Former attorney general, former governor? Does that include you?
Or more precisely, the lack of intelligent action by many of our political leaders. But New Yorkers know the simple answer of what to do when there's a crisis in leadership. You lead, you act, you do. I had the honor to serve the public in every level of government. In my 20s, with my father when he was governor, with Mayor David Dinkins on homelessness, with President Bill Clinton.
Oh, that was not a flattering picture right there, Andrew. I'm sure if that's the only picture you got with Bill Clinton, you might want to go and find if there's any other one, unless you're ogling a female or something. But yeah, this was not the most flattering picture. Just had to stop there for a moment.
Clinton as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, where we worked with cities all across the nation, and as New York State Attorney General, and as your governor. I know government can make a positive difference, because we did. Was it easy? No. But together we achieved historic, progressive accomplishments. We did things they said couldn't be done. We changed.
Interesting. I would like to hear the things that you said couldn't be done, because I'd like to see one of these things that anybody thought could not be done.
We did things they said couldn't be done. We changed lives by setting the highest minimum wage in the nation.
Is there anybody who doubted for a second that wacky New York would raise the minimum wage? Who in the hell thought it wasn't going to happen? The whole country was talking about, you know they're going to do that, right? Is there anyone who thought that wasn't going to occur? Show me the people who doubted it and said, nope, can never happen in New York, of all places. Who the hell said that?
A 66% increase. We saved lives by enacting the toughest gun violence protection laws in America.
What? You trying to hang your hat on that one? He says there's a crime problem, and then he says I'm disarming the citizens. No wonder you have a crime problem.
We created new families by leading the nation in passing marriage equality.
Nigga, please.
What?
Boy, what in the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah, you heard that correctly, by the way. We created new families. You know, because he's pro-abortion, his idea of, quote, new families, people. Let me go ahead and run that back so you can hear him again.
Enacting the toughest gun violence protection laws in America. We created new families by leading the nation in passing marriage equality, which established a new civil right for the LGBTQ community and set a new standard for the country.
More like set a new low for the country. But you heard him correctly. We created new families. You know what you didn't create? New babies. Damn! Oh, he said, don't worry, we got the illegals for that. But yeah, these are the accomplishments that he's bragging about. These are the accomplishments that he's crowing about now. Talk about completely oblivious.
We created the best paid family leave program.
For who? The LGBT folk? The best family leave. Okay, he just said we created new families. Families that cannot give birth to children. Here, let me adopt yours. Family medical leave. Okay, for who? The LGBT folk who ain't giving birth? People, if you want to hear about insane government, here it is right now. This guy is slightly to the left, slightly to the right of Caligula.
Enshrined Roe v. Wade into state law.
Folks, will somebody explain to me? He just said, did this bastard think about this before he said this? Family leave, and then he says abortion. Abortion. So on the one hand, we're going to give you more. Do you understand the head fake the Democrats run? Hey, we're going to give you family leave right after you abort your family. Damn. Here, abort your family, but you know you have access to family leave, although right after you abort your children, you can take family leave to look after your children right after you abort them. People, welcome to the most psychotic political class in America, only in New York.
Country. We created the best paid family leave program, enshrined Roe v. Wade into state law.
He didn't even notice, his speechwriters didn't even notice the obvious contradiction by putting those two things next to each other. Family leave and abortion. This tells you how out of touch, not with New York or America, but how out of touch with reality and biology these folks are. This is crazy.
3 years before Trump's Supreme Court ended a woman's right to control her own body, enacted the most aggressive green economy program in the country.
Folks, who in the hell in New York City said, you know what I can't pay the rent, I can't pay the car note, my job doesn't pay enough, I don't have any place to live or to work, the city is too damn expensive, but what we really need is green economy. Who in the hell in New York City has said that? Yeah, you know, we got smog and congestion and everything is damn overpriced and there's nowhere to live. But you know, we really need green economy. That's what an aggressive green economy, not just green economy, aggressive green economy. Who in the hell said that?
And highest minority business participation.
Now, I'll just let this still sit up on your screen for you there for a moment. He's letting you know that, and remember, him and his people produced this video. So when he discusses minorities, Dr. Claude Anderson's teachings and philosophy have come to pass. He told us decades, stop letting folks sit up here and use those words minority with you, because minority is attack language against us. Attack language against black people and specifically against the foundational freedmen, but this is war talk against us. He said this is their language to undermine us. Because you thinking minority includes you, and he said when they get done, minority will include everyone except you. Here we are. This is where we're at. We are not on our way, people. We are officially there now. We've been there for over a decade, but here we are. It's official. It's come to pass. It's a done deal. Minority does not mean black. It means everyone except black. And it is your good so-called progressive, Democrat, liberal friends who led the charge and led the war march against us. They're the ones who did it. In the blue cities and blue states, they're the ones who targeted us the most. New York, California, Boston, your so-called Democrats are the ones who targeted us the most. And by the way, continue to do so.
We showed that government can actually work and get things done.
Like gentrification and mass incarceration, you sure did.
Big, hard, important things, and get them done well.
Oh, I'd like to hear a little bit more of the things that were big, hard, and important that you're bragging about.
A new LaGuardia airport that went from the worst in the country to the best. The beautiful new Moynihan train station. A new 2nd Avenue subway line. A new...
You mean that subway that you just said folks were scared to go into?
Kosciuszko Bridge.
Who in the hell was Kosciuszko? Who was Kosciuszko? Who was Kosciuszko who was so important that he deserves his own, deserves their own bridge? Somebody explain to me, who was Kosciuszko that they were so important that they should get their own bridge that they're going to toll the hell out of you on? Who was that? Because I'm thinking about Adam Clayton Powell and a bunch of black folk. Who in the hell was this?
And the largest infrastructure project in the nation, done on time and on budget, the Mario M. Cuomo Bridge.
You mean your daddy? It's like, okay, everything else didn't come in on time or on budget. If he says on time and on budget, it was way too long and way too expensive, but okay. So his daddy's bridge got done on time and on budget. How do y'all feel about your rent? How do y'all feel about the tolls? How do you all feel about the commute over his daddy's bridge, by the way? Because he's bragging about it.
And on top of it all, we faced COVID.
Does he want to bring up COVID? What about the little old folks in the nursing homes? Andrew, you sure you want to bring up COVID as something to brag about, dude?
which was an historic life and death challenge. And we had it first and worst, with no warning.
Okay, New York did not have it first. Okay, I know politicians lie their asses off. New York did not have it first. I was in Seattle, Washington, specifically Kent, Washington, when the very first case of COVID hit the United States. I was there. I drove down to Los Angeles. I was there when it hit there. So no, it wasn't New York. Actually, it wasn't. So, okay, go ahead.
We were on our own, and we were pushed to our limits, but we got through it together. And we led the nation. We didn't do these things because they were easy. They weren't. They were hard, but they were necessary. And today, it is necessary to launch a bold action plan to turn New York City around, to save our city. We now walk down the street passing homeless people living in garbage, and it's become so commonplace that we have become conditioned to think that it is okay, that there's nothing we can do about it. No, it's wrong. It is not advancing civil rights to abandon seriously mentally ill people to the street, allowing them to endanger themselves or others. We are better than that, and they deserve better than that. We must get them the professional help they need. That is the caring, the loving thing to do. That is what New Yorkers believe is the right thing to do. And that is what a competent, effective government must do. We must attack the crime problem.
Okay, folks, how do you get mentally ill people, quote, the help they need when they sit there and tell you kiss their ass and off they go? So what is he talking about? It's not as if you're, hey, you know what? You need some help. Well, you sure ain't right. I need to go with you. Here, come with us. We're going to help you out here. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I just want somebody to come give me a hug. When the hell has that happened, people? More fantasy talk.
Crime problem. After politicians have been minimizing the need for police and cutting funding.
Oh, really? Yeah, there he goes. Now, you all remember I have a video here on the program, on the channel. I had a program that I did when I said that Democrats were going to start tacking back to the right and start adopting Republican and right-wing talking points. I said that years ago with Nancy Pelosi. Video I did talking about Chris Cillizza. When I told folk about it then, I was like, hey, it's going to be, when the Democrats do make a change, they're not going to say, we need to do what black folk told us to do. They're going to say, you know what? Why don't we just get ready and lock some of you niggas up? Why don't we do that instead? As I told you, they heard what we said, and their response is not going to be, all right, we need to acquiesce and do as our black constituency has told us. Their response is going to be, you know what? We need to show you that we are twin wings on the bird of white supremacy, and we are here. We're going to start adopting the tactics of the so-called right, which in reality is simply the other side of white supremacy. So, yeah, there you go. There you go, folks. This is Andrew Cuomo now. This is Andrew Cuomo saying, vote for me. Vote for me because the police haven't had enough.
Must attack the crime problem. After politicians have been minimizing the need for police and cutting funding, we must acknowledge the simple truth that they are just plain wrong, deadly wrong. They set us back, and we must now return to actually fighting crime. Let's remember what Mayor David Dinkins did when he took office, and we had a crime problem. He hired 6,000 new police officers, a 40% increase in force, while today we have fewer cops for a larger city. We need more police and specialized units, and law enforcement must focus on increase in force, while today we have fewer cops for a larger city. We need more.
Okay, off the issue of whether or not you need police, I'm not sure this gentleman here is ready for a foot chase. If he's one of the 6,000 that they hired Hopefully his car will block their escape of the bad guys, but I'm just kind of doubtful that he's gonna be involved in the foot chase. If he is, it'll be unsuccessful. I don't know. Maybe he can tackle somebody in the subway, and by that I mean Subway sandwiches.
More police and specialized units and law enforcement must focus on the small number of recidivists who commit the large number of crimes.
I agree. We should go right down to City Hall and focus on the small number of recidivists. They're usually sitting on the city council or at the assembly. I mean, you should go ahead and start there. I certainly endorse that.
We must also restore a relationship of mutual trust and respect between the police and the community.
How about we give black folk the money they're supposed to have so that black people can create their own upper class and there will be no need for police whatsoever? How about that one? No, because your buddies need the money from it? Oh, okay.
The police have been devalued, and today people don't even want to apply to be police officers. That must change. And our subway system? It was a visionary achievement, demonstrating New York at its best. They began construction in 1900, and in just 4 years built a system that went from City Hall to 145th Street in Manhattan, with 28 stops, including Grand Central and Times Square. Remarkable, really. Government worked, and the subways were safe. But today, people stand with their backs against the walls, away from the tracks, and away from...
Okay, folks, let me stop right quick here. To my New Yorkers, have you all ever considered the subways of New York to be, quote, safe? I mean, I know many of you in New York. I can't, in my entire life, I've never met a New Yorker who ever bragged and cheered me on about how clean and safe the New York subway system is. The guardian angels didn't show up in the last 10 years. The guardian angels were when I was a little child. I remember seeing them on 60 Minutes when I was a little kid. And by little kid, I mean elementary school. And so he's regaling us of a wonderful, clean, sparkling, safe subway system that never existed. So I'm just saying, y'all hear what he's saying as New Yorkers. He's telling you that the subway system was great and wonderful and safe. And I'm like, okay, which New York City is he referring to? Because according to him, he's referring to the one that you live in today. That it used to be safe and wonderful. And I'm just like, really? Really? Because whether it's Death Wish, whether it's any of your old movies from the 70s, what? Come on, folks. Gotham? For those of you who did not know, Batman and Gotham City is literally New York. I mean, technically speaking in the comic books, but everybody knows Gotham City, that's literally New York. Somebody said the Warriors. I mean, we can go down the list, people. New York subway. When is New York subway? American Werewolf in London, when has New York subway ever been considered safe? Tell me when. Show me the movie that's ever held up New York subways as a paragon of sanctity. When? And I'm not beating up on nothing. I'm saying New Yorkers know this. They're like, what the hell subway he talking about? What era, people? The 90s? The 80s? The 70s? The 60s? When is New York subways ever been safe? Because according to Andrew Cuomo, well, it used to be fine. It just recently became unsafe. According to him, the subways only recently went into decline and recently became unsafe. Up until now, it was great. It was great until Eric Adams got there. But before now, it was wonderful. I've been hearing about people getting pushed on the damn train tracks. All of us around the country, we've heard about people getting pushed on the damn train tracks in New York our entire adult lives. Andrew Cuomo is trying to tell all of us now that all that, we was just daydreaming it. To my New Yorkers, whenever somebody gets pushed on the subway tracks in y'all's city, that makes national news. Just in case you all didn't know. For my New Yorkers, in case you didn't know, you're not just hearing about that where you are. When somebody gets pushed on the tracks in New York, that makes national news. Because most cities don't have a subway system. So when somebody gets pushed on the tracks of the subways in New York, we hear about that across the country. For those of you, okay, some of y'all didn't know that. For those of you in New York City who didn't know that, I'm telling you, every time somebody does that, we hear about that across the country. That makes the news everywhere. It hits CNN, it hits ABC, that hits the news nationally. That's not a local thing. We get the news about that everywhere when somebody does that in your city. So we might not find out if the Yankees won a game, but if somebody gets their ass pushed on the tracks in New York, we're going to hear about it. And he's telling all of us that we're just kind of dreamt all this time. Okay.
Each other, wary, on guard, afraid they... Remarkable, really. Government worked, and the subways were safe. But today, people stand with their backs against the walls, away from the tracks, and away from each other. Wary, on guard, afraid they might be the next victim.
New Yorkers standing away from each other. How is that different from any other day? I'm just saying, I won't belabor the issue, but the New Yorkers are standing away from each other. And how's that different from any other day in New York?
Afraid of New York at its worst. Why? Because once again, government leadership has failed to perform a basic function: public safety. We need a significant presence of real police, not publicity stunts with short-term efforts.
You want to know about publicity stunts? How about the Instagram thoughts that they have on the police force now? If I see one more BBL cop in New York City, damn! That's another thing that the NYPD is becoming famous for, by the way. New York police donk. So if I see one more BBL officer who's done hit Instagram or Snapchat, if I see one more Dominicana hoping that she can pull over some Saudi Arabian billionaire, I suppose, if I see one more of them, just saying, I don't know another city in New York that has as many BBL police officers as New York has. I'm looking at the LAPD. I'm like, they tend to be pretty slender over there. New York City, oh, get ready. Like, who's the recruiting officer? Meg Thee Stallion? What? I mean, who's in charge of hiring at the NYPD? Nicki Minaj? Damn! Must be based on some of the females I'm seeing. So I'm thinking that, their final test at the academy was a twerk off. And who in the hell's making the pants? That's the other thing. Who's making the trousers for those chicks? Because you can't go get what she's wearing. That's not standard issue. It's just the dimensions are all messed up. That's not standard issue. So whoever is the tailor making they must make some custom pants for those chicks. Got to be. Talking about publicity stunts. Is that a publicity stunt?
A permanent, significant increase by the city and state, more NYPD, MTA police, state police, whatever is necessary to make our subway safe 24 hours a day, safe as an alternative to driving, safe for our working men and women, and safe for my daughters and for yours. And we must bring order to the chaos of e-bikes on our streets and sidewalks.
Didn't he just say safe transportation has to be safe? And now he's like, okay, well, I'll just avoid the subway altogether and avoid driving. I'll walk. Oh, yeah. And about the e-bikes that are killing folks on the sidewalks. People, it's bedlam. It's anarchy.
Pedestrians are getting needlessly hurt and even killed. It must end.
He's talking about e-bikes, y'all. Okay, so the subways are one thing, and by the way, there's chaos with the e-bikes, so if you avoid all those other things, if you avoided getting killed in the subway, now you can get killed by an e-bike on the sidewalk.
And safe for my daughters and for yours. And we must bring order to the chaos of e-bikes on our streets and sidewalks. Pedestrians are getting needlessly hurt and even killed. It must end. We must stop talking and actually start building thousands of new affordable units and create thousands of good jobs in the process. Look around you. We know how to build. We built the greatest city on the planet.
Now, do you see the smoke and mirrors he just used here? He said we need to build thousands of affordable units. He doesn't say a word about how it's going to happen. He just said we really need to build thousands of affordable units. Why? We know how to build. Clearly, you don't know how to build thousands of affordable units. Clearly, you don't know how to do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been talking about it for the last 40 damn years.
We built the Empire State Building in 1 year in the middle of the Great Depression.
And haven't built 500 new housing units in a decade, long after the Great Depression.
It is basic competence. Government just...
How many permits do you need to build anything in New York City? How many permits do you have to have in New York City to build anything? I want you to think about that for a few moments. You didn't need all the permits and red tape that you do today back when they were building the Empire State Building. If you attempted to build something in New York City today, how many permits would you need? How long would it take? What would be the delay? You have to plan years in advance to build something in New York City. Notice he didn't say a word about that. We know how to build. Yeah, you're just not allowed to. We built during the Great Depression. You can't build anything now. Yeah, we know what to do. Yeah, you know what to do. You're just not allowed to do it. And he didn't say a word about that. So go ahead, vote for me. And we're going to talk about building units as soon as your ass show up. Oh, here, hold this permit and hold this regulation and wait till we give you a call back.
Has to get out of its own way and get it done. Government just has to get out of its own way and get it done.
Okay, he didn't say nothing about the permits and regulations. Government got to get out of his own way. He didn't say drop the permits.
Our public housing is 50, 60 years old. Many developments have open areas. We should be transforming them on a large-scale basis to modern mixed-income communities. We did it at HUD 25 years ago. Cities across the country have done it. And we can too. It's long overdue. We must do more to advance social justice. And a top priority must be investing in training and jobs rather than jails.
Here we go. So just in case you all are wondering, Jason, why are you letting this play this long? 'Cause here we go. Took us 8.5 minutes to get here, but here we are. Here we go. What we gonna do for you is the same damn thing we've been talking about for 90 years, where we see if we can get y'all some more jobs. Now, when he talks about building, he's talking about the white and Jewish developers in New York. And by the way, no, I want to single that one out because he's got a few choice words about that I want to get here to in a few moments. And what he says about them is radically, number one, it's radically different. And number two, it's radically longer than what he says for us. Pay attention now.
We must do more to advance social justice. And a top priority must be investing in training and jobs rather than jails. Many have said it. Now it's time to do it. We must provide economic alternatives for young minority men now turning to crime. Private employment partnerships, vocational training, apprentice programs, positive opportunity.
How about our damn Black Wall Streets? How about Seneca Village? How about Harlem Renaissance? How about what the hell y'all stole from us? How about that one? You're sitting up here, I'll be damned, Jeff Bezos even implied. By the way, wasn't he the damn governor when Jeff Bezos talked about bringing Amazon #2 to New York City? Damn! You damn right I'm yelling it because ain't nobody else telling it. Wasn't he the damn governor when Jeff Bezos was talking about building Amazon headquarters #2 and Andrew Cuomo was willing to sit up here and clear out Long Island City? Wasn't he the one doing that? Wasn't he the one who wanted to clear out the big ass swath of Queens? Wasn't he the one who wanted to move every damn thing so that he could clear out hundreds of acres? This is why you have to have a real black media, because even though I don't live in New York, I got to be able to name these specific geographic locations. So when somebody like him shows up, I can broadcast this to all of you and remind you, hey, isn't he the guy who was the governor and in New York City where they claim, hey, we ain't gonna have any more large tracts of land to build on? Hudson Yards was the last damn one. And next thing you know, when Amazon says, hey, we want to build Amazon headquarters #2, all of a sudden Long Island City is available. Huge, gigantic tract of land. All of a sudden, that was available. And Andrew Cuomo told Jeff Bezos, here's my personal cell phone number. Call me up if you need anything. Wasn't he governor when that was going on? Wasn't he the one who rolled out the red carpet to Amazon? Talking about opportunities. So, and by the way, they were going to give money, and everybody else, here's your permit. Here's your regulation. Here's your red tape. But for Jeff Bezos, wasn't none of that. And what we saying is, yeah, we want that. We want that right there. What you were offering Jeff Bezos, we want that. And now that you have proven that you got a large tract of land, you know what? You owe us a hell of a whole lot. You can come drop that off over here. We'll take that. And all the financial investment and tax incentives you're going to give Bezos, damn right, we can get that reparations train rolling finally. So glad you found a big tract of land in the middle of New York. So glad you found that. Now they're telling you, oh, it ain't available no more. We can't really do nothing with it. Yeah, but the one-time deal right there, we thought we'd make it happen, but yeah, okay. We don't want to hear about no damn jobs. You have enough skilled, ambitious black folk in New York. Let me tell you something. New York City is hustle city, period, point blank. In the discussion, I've always said that, and will continue to do so. You have the most hustle-minded, most ambitious, industrious black folk that you'll ever meet in your life up there in New York City, and that's why they put the damn shackles on you. That's why they got the red tape on you. They told you that the illegals can come there and operate and break the law openly. They have extended white privilege, and white privilege is they are the law. They tell you, you got to abide by every rule and regulation. They got a million of those. The illegals come in the damn door. Ain't no rules, ain't no regulations, ain't no limits. They do as they please. If you try to set up a damn webcam in your apartment, there's some New York City comptroller or New York City official or bureaucrat. Hey, what y'all doing in there? What do your taxes look like? Are you filing taxes? The illegals, I'll be damned, got prostitutes all up and down in front of the Roosevelt building there, and ain't nobody sitting up here checking their paperwork for nothing. Now, isn't that amazing? Nobody's checking them for a damn thing. So what are they showing you? That everybody else is being allowed to operate under a different set of rules openly. No laws for anybody else. Absolute law for you. You are being policed. You are being controlled. They have physical control and physical restraints, not intellectual ones, not symbolic ones. You are being physically controlled and physically restrained on a regular basis. And Andrew Cuomo was presiding over that. And now he's back talking the same old damn flim-flam. We on something totally different. And he talking about we need to take bold action. Well, guess what? Bold action begins with a reparations movement. It begins with a tangibles movement. That's what it begins with. It begins with that. You talking about bridges they built for your daddy. you're enriching white men. He talks about development. He's talking about Jewish developers. We talking about, excuse me, you need to talk specifically to us. And yes, I keep talking about that because he's going to speak specifically now to anybody who thinks that, by the way, Jason, how do we know that's legit right there? You talking a lot about that. Oh, don't worry. He's going to get specific before this video is over. Very specific. And anybody who wants to argue with me about that, I'm going to call you out on the carpet because he's going to get very specific here.
To crime, private employment partnerships, vocational training, apprentice programs, positive opportunities. We can do it, and we will do it. The tragic situation in the Middle East generates strong opinions.
Wow, that was a hell of a pivot right there, wasn't it? We were talking about jobs and vocational training to the Middle East. That was a hell of a pivot.
Programs, positive opportunities. We can do it, and we will do it. The tragic situation in the Middle East generates strong opinions, understandably. It is a terrible story of human loss and suffering. But nothing justifies racism and anti-Semitism. We have the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. They are our neighbors and friends. They are our family, literally. They helped build this city. It is their home, and they must feel safe. Our New York City should not be tolerating any harassment or disparagement of our Jewish brothers and sisters, and certainly not from our elected officials.
Now, do you see how long he's gone on about that? Now, for us, he mentioned minority and kept it pushing. I can't even say that was for us, but that's supposed to be towards when he'll eventually say black here in just a moment. Oh, he's going to say black and brown. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, folks. By the way, he ain't said nothing about black folk yet, but he's mentioning Jewish people first. He's going to get to black folk here in just a moment. He hadn't said nothing about this yet. He's going to get to black folk here in just a moment. Black and brown, by the way. Black and brown. Yeah, he ain't said nothing about black folk yet. Spoiler alert. He's going to get to it, but by the way, it's going to be black and brown. And he's going to hit that and keep it pushing. He's going to touch on that for just a hot second in passing and just keep it rolling. That's exactly what it's going to be.
They must feel safe. It is a terrible story of human loss and opportunities. We can do it, and we will do it. The tragic situation in the Middle East generates strong opinions, understandably. It is a terrible story of human loss and suffering. But nothing justifies racism and anti-Semitism. We have the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. They are our neighbors and friends. They are our family, literally. They helped build this city. It is their home, and they must feel safe. Our New York City should not be tolerating any harassment or disparagement of our Jewish brothers and sisters, and certainly not from our elected officials. In fact, they should be condemning it. The law must be aggressively enforced, and our New York should go even further and be at the forefront, leading the fight against the global rise of anti-Semitism. But to do any of this, we need a government that can actually perform. We need a government with leaders.
Now, I want you to know he's gone on for a whole minute. He went on for 60 seconds and a little over, actually. He went on for a whole minute to reassure the Jewish community so he can apply for, I guess, to get Jewish donations. He wants to make sure that Jewish lobby and the Jewish financial lobby, he wants to make sure that they understand, hey, swing that check over here. He wants to make it very clear to them. And what I'm saying is that when you have people who have a fully established economy and they're willing to use it, that's what makes a difference in politics. So when you're talking to us and you're not talking about building our economy, then we don't get to promote the politicians that we need to and thus promote the policies we need to. Take a look at how way out of his way he's going to reassure Jewish folks. So yeah, I mean, he's obviously appealing for AIPAC money. He is so obviously, nakedly, shamelessly appealing for AIPAC money. Well, yeah, because they allowed Jewish society to build up their economy. They allowed them to get deep off in the paint. They've allowed them to get completely solidified. They allowed them to get affluent. They allowed them to get prosperous. They did that with them. Now it's time to fling that over here, and all of a sudden they're telling us about jobs. Nobody talking to the Jewish folk about jobs. And oh yeah, one more thing. He is not equivocating when he talks about the need to protect them and conflating racism and anti-Semitism. Which, by the way, that's not Jewish, but even what you mean is anti-Jewishness, but even still, he ain't talking about that with us. We're the ones getting gunned down by police, by vigilantes. If a Jewish person, if Jordan Neely was Jewish, what would Andrew Cuomo be saying? Damn! Now, if Jordan Neely were Jewish, how would that whole situation have gone down? If Jordan Neely were Jewish, which is what I have reminded you all since day one. It would be a radically different conversation. So yes, we are the only ones who need protection. We are the only ones who need an anti-black racism bill. We're the only ones who need that. The folks they talking to don't have these problems.
Leadership that can take a stand and get things done intelligently, professionally, efficiently, effectively, and do it now. To me, the founding premise of a progressive Democratic Party is all about serving working men and women. But the cruel irony is they are the ones now paying the highest price for New York's failed Democratic leadership. The affordability crisis, the madness of the mass transit system, mainly affects the poor and middle class, and 75% of the victims of crime are black and brown.
Okay, in case anybody thought that I hadn't watched the video already, well, Jason, are you sure he's going to mention black folk? Are you sure it's going to be black and brown? As I said, oh, don't worry, he's going to talk about us in just a moment in passing. He's going to discuss us in just a second in passing. And oh yeah, it's black and brown. Now, when it was Jewish people, he didn't discuss white supremacy. Notice he didn't say white supremacy. When it was Jewish people, he focused only on Jewish. To let Jewish people know that we're specifically addressing your specific concerns, specifically only for your people. But when it comes to black folk, well, we bundled you together with the minorities and the brown, and we bundled you together. Well, he didn't bundle Jewish people. He decoupled them. He unbundled them. Isn't that amazing?
This is not progressive policy, but in fact, regressive policy. FDR, John Kennedy, LBJ, Mario Cuomo, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama taught us what it meant to have a true progressive government. It wasn't about rhetoric, but results. Look at the word. Progressive government makes progress.
Folks, did you see that? I mean, he flew past black folk like the Road Runner. He flew past black folk like Speedy Gonzalez, like the Flash. Did you see how he just did that? Jewish people got 60 whole seconds. 60 whole seconds of him gushing about what he was going to do for them. Meanwhile, the only people being targeted by everybody, including the so-called brown, including the Jewish, including the white, the only folks who get targeted by everybody, us, he said, oh yeah, by the way, we bundling you in here and let's keep it moving. So he gave the Jewish folk a whole minute and then talked about us, mentioned the word black, and then kept that damn train rolling.
Poor and middle class, and 75% of the victims of crime are black and brown.
Zoom.
This is not progressive policy, but in fact, regressive policy. FDR, John Kennedy, LBJ, Mario Cuomo, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama taught us what it meant to have a true progressive government. It wasn't about rhetoric, but results. Look at the word. Progressive government makes progress. They focused on issues that mattered to people in their day-to-day lives, issues that were relevant to them. And then they actually made life better for people. And that is what Democrats must do once again. New York birthed the original progressive movement, and it worked. It lifted this city, this state, this nation to new heights. And it is time for its rebirth. And the place is New York, and the time is now.
And the person is somebody other than you.
My philosophy as an elected official is simple.
Me, I.
I work for you.
Told you.
Not the politicians and not the special interests.
And meanwhile, he's appealing directly to special interests. I love Israel. Okay, well, special interest right there, folks. He literally just spent 60 seconds talking about a special interest. He literally spent 60 whole seconds, a whole minute straight, appealing to a special interest group and then telling you that I work for you and not the special interest right after he just spent 60 seconds appealing to a special interest group.
I work as hard as you do, 24/7. I know what needs to be done, and I know how to do it. Experience matters.
How many of you miss Andrew Cuomo's quote experience? How many of you missed that? Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. I'm not going to play the rest of it. I wanted to play this part so you all can see. By the way, the old Democratic leadership, yeah, they've been sitting in the damn background. They're just hoping that things get bad enough. They're just hoping that things get bad enough that you'll give them a second look. Not that they're going to do a damn thing differently, and certainly not that they're going to adhere to the demands that we already made. Andrew Cuomo already knows about the tangibles movement. I went up there to the New York State Assembly. I got something special in regard to that. They know about the tangibles movement. They've been known about it. And all of them are betting that they're not going to have to do anything about that and that it won't be a big issue. That's what they're betting on. There are folks out there who are telling themselves that they're just going to sit back in the cut and that they're going to wait for the opposition to become less popular than they are, and then they'll pop up and say, hey, boo, remember me? And that's how they get you. That's why it is their top priority to make sure that we don't have an economic base of our own so that we can start promoting politicians and policies of our own. That's why they do that. I sat there in New York City here a couple weeks ago, and I'm just letting y'all know right now, your black politicians is bull jiving. I mean, I saw a bunch of chicks walking around with their mini skirts on when it's 20 damn degrees outside. What? I'm serious. In Albany, the Hyatt, the Hilton, Alvin Bragg was there. He had been drinking. This big light-skinned nigga thought he was popular or something. I'm like, looking like Heavy D. Oh, yeah, and there was plenty of that going on. By the way, you want to know what your politicians are doing? Maybe y'all need to take out a little bit of time to go to some of these functions they go to so you can see what I saw. I mean, they was getting lit, they was getting crunked, and I'm seeing a bunch of chicks, and I'm like, wait a minute, who the hell's office do you work at? And when I say to you that it was chicks with their BBLs and they tight leather skirts by the dozens. What? Folks, it was by the dozens. It looked like Disco 9000. I mean, complete with the damn DJ, because it couldn't hear nobody talking because the music was so damn loud. Folks, this was a damn political get-together. The black and Puerto Rican and Asian American, their little conference. Well, I was there in New York. I went. I was there with about a dozen of y'all. Shout out to the crew that was there. By the way, don't worry. Got a little bit of work to do on that. But to the crew who was there with me, came all the way from Louisiana, coming through the snowstorms, coming through the winter storms, up through the states. And I want you all to know, Alvin Bragg was there. Letitia James was there. What? Oh, yeah, one more thing. Alvin Bragg was there. Letitia James was there. Yeah, your black politicians were there. The folk who be chasing Trump around, they were there. And I was right there with them. And I'm just letting y'all know right now. Folk, there were literally dozens of females there with their mini skirts and tight pants on and tight jeans, and the politicians was in their drink. That's literally on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's night, February 14th, Valentine's night, Albany, New York, Friday. That's what was going on. And I paid the money to get a bunch of folks in there. So I'm telling you right now, there were a dozen people who were with me who saw the same damn thing, recorded it. There's a dozen people who were with me and saw the same damn thing. I want you to know what your black politicians and your black assembly folk are doing. Alvin Bragg was not in New York that night. He wasn't in New York City that night. He was down there in Albany. And I'm telling you what was going on. And when they left the place that we were at, when they left the hall that we were at there, they went to the hotels. They went to the Hilton. They went to the Hyatt. So I'm like, they going to the after party. And I'm seeing a bunch of females with their high heel shoes on. I'm like, baby, you don't work in politics. What are you here for? And I'm telling you, they were there by the dozens. Now, I don't know if they were looking to be in somebody's aid. I don't know if they were looking to get a leg up in politics. I don't know if they were working girls. I'm not sure what their agenda was, but I am telling you that, by the way, y'all, you wouldn't have known the difference between that and the BET Awards. What I saw in Albany, New York, going on 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't have known the difference between what I saw with your assembly people in New York and the BET after party. You would not have known the difference. You wouldn't have known the difference. There's a few of y'all who were with me sounding off in the chat room right now. You were there. You saw it. And y'all live in New York. I was just visiting. I'm like, by the way, y'all politicians out here bull jiving. No wonder you can't get nothing done. They looking for the turn up. These are your politicians. No wonder your business is not getting handled. I understand this is bigger than New York, but I'm focusing on New York because that's a particularly acute issue. And I just want y'all to understand in New York, if you want to know why it is the rent is so damn high and you can't get nothing about it, you want to know what your black politicians are doing? Your black politicians out here acting like it's damn me Disco 9000. And I'm literally showing you that that's what the hell it is. Literally. If you all saw that, I mean, they looking for the chicks. They looking for the turn up. I don't know if there was any drugs involved. I'm willing to bet there was. Because it looked like exactly the kind of situation where somebody got a bag of blow. I'm being straight up with y'all. It looked like exactly the kind of situation where somebody got a bag of blow in the bathroom. For those of you who were there with me, you'll bear me witness. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. So no, I have very little, what I'm saying is I have no problem believing that Andrew Cuomo was pinching a few chicks on the ass. That's what they were doing. And there was plenty of them lined up to get felt on. Oh, am I not supposed to say that? Oh, I'm not supposed to say that? Because there were a bunch of folk. There were some city council people from New York City, and there were a bunch of assembly people. Yeah, they was looking for some chicks to pinch on the ass. Male and female.
And deal with it.
Oh yeah, by the way, it wasn't just the men looking for a chick to fill on. It was also some of the females looking for a chick to fill on. By the way, I'm not going to dwell on the unsavory details there, but by the way, I just thought I would let you know. Just in case y'all were wondering what was going on. Oh yeah, by the way, and it was there were a few Asian women there too.
What?
By the way, in case you were wondering, there were a few Asian women there too. Now I didn't see a bunch of white folk. Some of the white folk were security. I didn't see any white people inside the function except the ones who worked there. There wasn't no white females running around that I saw. I did see some Asian. So, okay, the Asian part of the little get together, I'm like, okay, they showed up. So that was going on. But I'm just telling y'all right now, folks were sitting up there campaigning and politicking for somebody to lay up with and this, that, and the other. That's what was going on with your politicians. That's what's going on. That's what you have going. And these people are depending on an electorate and a people who are out of touch and worried about, damn me, fringe issues like Medicaid, and with nobody in that damn room talking about no damn Medicaid. But there are other people out there who see things differently. And I think that there are lessons that we can learn from that. I think that there are lessons we can learn from that. And I think there are lessons that we absolutely must and should learn from that. Case in point, everyone's favorite white supremacist talk show host, former talk show host, heir to the Swanson Foods family fortune, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was at Turning Point. Tucker Carlson was at Turning Point, because the Ku Klux Klan has rebranded itself. Tucker Carlson was at Turning Point, and he was talking about a Republican congressman, Dan Crenshaw. Y'all might have seen him. He's the guy, used to be in the military. He's got an eye patch because he lost an eye. He's from Texas. So you don't get much more so-called Republican conservative than that. And Tucker Carlson made a full frontal assault against Republicans in Texas and Dan Crenshaw. And I want you to hear what Tucker had to say about this, because and you all know Tucker is not one of my favorite people. When it comes to outright white supremacists and racists, he is at the absolute top of the heap. And by that, I mean the trash heap at the landfill. That is what I think of Tucker Carlson as a person. I will not say as a human being, because I will not elevate subhumans to the level of human beings. But when it talks about this right here, I thought this was very interesting, and listen to what he said openly in public to everybody with his whole bird chest.
Demand that your elected leaders who are using your money and have your authority.
Oh, just gag me with a fork.
Demand that your elected leaders who are using your money and have your authority and your military, that they do something about it. Your neighborhood looks nothing like it did 10 years ago because of illegal immigration. Well, we have a military on which we spend like $1.5 trillion a year. Why aren't they at the border protecting the country they serve? What is that? I don't understand. And anyone else who doesn't get that immediately is not qualified to represent you. And I actually think it rarely takes a primary. I think if enough people sit down with Congressman X, even someone like Dan Crenshaw or Lindsey Graham, yeah, boo. But I think if you actually sat down with Dan Crenshaw and said, listen, Dan, I get it. You're a little, but I'm kind of on to you now. And we want you to do the following 10 things. And if you don't, we're going to get someone who's aligned with us, and we're going to primary you. And at the very least, we're going to wreck your day. And he'll maybe be like, okay, your concerns are more important than the concerns of my donors.
Now, I want you to remember what he just said there. Let me play that again so that sinks in.
Following 10 things, and if you don't, we're going to get someone who's aligned with us, and we're going to primary you.
Now, think about that for just a few moments. He said that, but then he followed the rationale through, and I want that to be a point that sticks with you.
And if you don't, we're going to get someone who's aligned with us, and we're going to primary you. And at the very least, we're going to wreck your day. And he'll maybe be like, okay.
So we're going to get somebody to primary you. And at the very least, we're going to wreck your day. We're going to get somebody to we're going to tell you this is what you need to do. And if you don't, we're going to get somebody to primary you. And at the very least, we're going to wreck your day. Now, that's how serious these folks are about that. We have made progress here in Intelligent Black Society because that's the campaign that we've been on now going on 2 decades. With very little resources, very few backing. Certainly haven't had the type of national organization these other folks here have. But I want you to understand, when these folks get together, Tucker Carlson, and by the way, if you keep playing this clip here, he keeps talking about Charlie Kirk. He's talking about Charlie Kirk and how you need to support him. And I want you to understand, these are the folks who work behind the scenes and work with other folk there, regardless of whatever else occurs, to make people understand that we're not playing around and we're not kidding, and we really will jump up and do something. We really will do it. You do not have a right to our vote. We really will come out at you. And by the way, earlier this week, Dan Crenshaw is made the news and things like that. Dan Crenshaw was being interviewed by somebody. After the interview was over, their microphone was on, and the guy asked Dan Crenshaw how he feels about Tucker Carlson, and he starts cursing about him. He says, "If I ever meet him in person, I'll effing kill him. I'm not joking." That's the end of the quote. If I ever meet him in person, quote, "If I ever meet him in person, I'll effing kill him. And I'm not joking," end quote. So you want to know if Tucker Carlson got through? You want to know if it had an effect? You want to know if that was an issue there? Yeah, Dan Crenshaw's like, yeah, if I ever meet him in person, it's up. If I ever meet him in person, it's up. And that is exactly the way it needs to be with us. That is exactly how it needs to be with us. That is exactly the mentality that it needs to be with us. That's exactly how it needs to go. Exactly. That we are not here for folks to sit up here and say the opposition needs to be worse than us. No, you need to be doing better than them. One of the other things right here I want you all to understand is, and I'm going to touch on this really, really briefly here because I got a few things I do want to touch on really, really briefly. Over here in the Chitlin circuit, Roland Martin, I talked about this last week. Did I call it or did I call it?
We begin tonight with the people who are really running the country right now. Now, Trump is often wrong and misleading about a lot of things, but especially about history. Donald Trump falling in line with President Elon Musk.
In the wake of the unsettling news that MSNBC has canceled Joy Ann Reid's primetime show, The Readout, Roland Martin and the Black Star Network would like to extend an invitation to all of the fans of Joy Ann Reid's MSNBC show to join us every night to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming.
Folks, is this the most shameless thing that you ever witnessed in your life? Talk about handing out tickets to your chicken shack at somebody's funeral. Think about that for a few moments. I would like to send an invitation to Joy Reid, to all Joy Reid's fans, to come watch my show. People, have you ever seen any... I'm trying to be respectful. Folks, this is... I'm going to go ahead and say it. This would be like Prince showing up at Michael Jackson's funeral to hand out tickets to Paisley Park. That's what this is. This would be like after David Ruffin died, this would be like the Four Tops showing up at the funeral to hand out tickets to a Four Tops concert at David Ruffin's funeral. Hey, so sorry David Ruffin dead. You know we having we would like to invite all the Temptation fans to come see our new concert. I mean, that's literally what this is. Hey, heard your favorite person lost their damn show. So we would like to invite all your fans here to come watch mine. I told you last week, you thought there was going to be a partnership? I said this last week. Did I call it or did I damn well call it? You thought there was going to be a partnership. You thought there was going to be some camaraderie. Roland is like, I told y'all he was going to be dancing on her grave. I told you that. He was going to be looking about what it was going to be for him. He ain't going to do her no favors. Now, the only thing he can do, by the way, tell your audience that since you got knocked off, they can come watch me now.
To join us every night, we'd like to extend an invitation. Roland Martin and the Black Star Network would like to extend an invitation to all of the fans of Joy Ann Reid's MSNBC show to join us every night to watch Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming on the Black Star Network for news, discussion of the issues that matter to you, and the latest updates on the twice impeached, criminally convicted felon-in-chief Donald Trump and his unprecedented assault on democracy, as well as co-president Elon Musk's takeover of the federal government. The Black Star Network stands with Joy Ann Reid and all folks who understand the power of black voices in.
The Black Star Network stands with Joy Ann Reid. They stand with her, all right. They stand way away from being with her. They stand way over there. So in case anybody was wondering how that was going to turn out, now you know. Now, see, this is exactly what it was going to be. He has no use for Joy. He's hoping he can peel off some of her audience. Other than that, yeah, ain't nothing in it for me. Ain't nothing in it for me. Yes, indeed. That's the old black media, but then again, they are also in lockstep with the Democrat Party, and that is what you have. There is no plan. Their plan is simply to wait out Trump and the opposition and then come back and tell all of us, okay, well, they really suck over there, and, you know, don't they suck enough that you don't really want that around? That's what they're doing. That's the plan. That's the only plan. That's been the only plan. You know what? Let me go ahead and just get into everything else here. I was going to wait a little bit, but let me go ahead and just get into everything else because we need to be aware that this is a global strategy. White supremacy is global. And they know what your issues are, and they're here to distract you on everything else. Now, let me go ahead and give you an example. Let me give you a very clear example. Let's talk about a place like, for example, South Africa, a place that only in recent history freed itself with our extreme assistance because that's the only thing that would have done it. Well, the only place there that was freed from the boot of apartheid because we here in America made sure it was possible. We made that a global issue. The whole world knows exactly what it is and what it's been. So you would figure that the only issue on the table for them, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you would figure that would be the only one. That if there are any white folk who enter the room, that the only issue is going to be the economics, a la Julius Malema. You would figure that that's what it would be. You would figure that, and you'd be wrong. You'd figure that, and you would be wrong. Let me show you a case in point. This is happening in Cape Town as we speak.
We're all here to celebrate his life. He was spreading the word to his own community, to the kids in his community, young people, gay, queer people that wasn't accepted by his family, and he accepted them as a father figure. He was just spreading love.
We found the one BMW in South Africa.
Spreading love. And that's why we're celebrating his life as well today.
This is Cape Town, folks. Take a look at this sidewalk here, by the way. This is Cape Town. Okay. Take a look at this. Yeah, there you go. Don't doubt me. They say this is Cape Town, South Africa now. Take a look. Take a look now. These are the white folk, and this is what they selling to us. Take a look at that. To the folk over there and whatnot looking for Zaddy, and then we worry about the Akatas and all this old mess. By the way, this is what they're pushing. You see, they cut their teeth on it over here, and this is what they keep exporting everywhere. Notice you talking about being LGBT. What are you not talking about? You're not talking about economics. You're not talking about tangibles. You're not talking about revolutionary reform. You are not talking about obliterating white supremacy. You talking about being buck broken by white supremacy is what you talking about. You talking about that. Yeah, this is. Do you think white supremacy is worried about you when this is what you start prioritizing? This is in the streets of South Africa. I want you to understand this. This is in the streets of South Africa. This is in the streets of a place that is 90% black now. This is in their streets, and this is what is happening. Think about that for a moment. Think about that for a few moments. This is exactly what's going on there right now. So to anybody thinking that you found some haven of black empowerment, anybody who wants to talk about Pan-Africanism, this is what's happening in Africa right now. Right now. When they should be sitting there holding up flags of the indigenous people there, I submit to you, when we talk about the dominant society is that which has the control, not that which has the most numbers. When we say the phrase the dominant society, that means the portion of the society that has the most control, not the one who has the most numbers. And they are here to enact the exact same strategy that they did there before. They cut their teeth on it over here. We've been shaking that off, and they're showing you that, by the way, rinse and repeat. We want you to be focused on sexuality. We want you to be focused on sexual adventurism. We want you focused on anything and everything except white supremacy. Everything except that. Now, they'll give you money to explore your LGBT lifestyle. What they are not doing there, nor are they doing it here, is giving you money to establish yourself independently from the white supremacist power structure. Now, that is what they are not doing. And somebody in the chat room said it, yes, as our ancestor brother Neely Fuller pointed out, they keep promoting non-reproductive activities. They are not just non-productive, they are also non-reproductive. That is a major thing that they aim at you with. Andrew Cuomo and abortion. And then LGBT, everything that makes sure that specifically you will not be reproducing. They promote policies and promote agendas and promote activities that ensure that you will not reproduce. Now they will invest trillions of dollars into that, encouraging you into non-reproductive activities, into you promoting it. And by the way, the cherry on top, pause. But by the way, the cherry on top is not only if you're non-reproductive, if you can be non-reproductive by means of being butt broken. Let me go ahead and say it. Because you'll be sitting like this fella here who has no economic mobility, but he's got a zaddy. And when they get done, meanwhile, he's off having white children with the white women. Think about this for a few moments. You see these white men walking with white women. Very interesting there now, isn't it? Now, the white men are not sitting there with their hair multicolored and all this old garbage. So these fellas here, when they get finished with their black butt breaking, they gonna go find a white chick to go snuggle up with. Meanwhile, you fellas over here, you gonna find a really weird looking dude dressed up as a chick for you to go snuggle up with. That's what you'll be doing. Oh, yeah. And one more thing. When Zaddy is done buck breaking the men, then Zaddy is going to put on his little angel wings and he's going to fly over to the women. Oh, yeah. One more thing. Because this is also a historical habit as well. When he finishes his homosexual tryst with your men, he's then going to fly his way on over to go engage in some sexual hijinks with your women. And these will be the same guys sitting up here telling you all the black men in South Africa are gay. The white man who has been parading both of them, he'll be the first one telling all the black females there that, oh, well, all the black men in South Africa are lazy and gay. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? This is warfare. This is what they're focused on. This is what they are focused on. This is what they are concentrating on. This is what they are aligned with. This is what they're doing. This is why you have a Congressional Black Caucus, and they are discussing everything except what we have told them, and it is not because they are not aware. They thought they were going to do a head fake and say the words reparations. They're talking about reparations, but not discussing tangibles, which means that this is DOA. Representative Presley was probably intelligent enough to realize we better be offering something, but it's like, yeah, baby, we're not going to be eating no more air pies. We're not going to be doing that. You have to come with what we specifically told you to come with. Donald Trump is sitting right there next to Elon Musk and making sure that Elon Musk's financial future is solidified for the next 3,000 years. Now you're voting for representatives who are not ensuring that for us. They need to butt their asses out about anything that's talking about the children, this, that, and the other. You throw the damn dollars like you're supposed to. We'll take care of the rest. But that's a problem. And that's a danger. Because you see, if you are in a position where you are taking care of your business yourself, then the politicians don't have any control. You see, in Jewish society, yes, I'm making a point of mentioning that today. In Jewish society, they want you to simply promote their physical safety and get the hell out the way and let them run things how they gonna do it. And oh yes, as we already covered before, in their enclaves, yeah, throw them checks, throw them tangibles. That's what we're looking for. And that is it. Nothing else. They don't want to hear a damn thing about anything else. They done with it. At that point, that is it. Get the hell out their way. They'll take care of everything else from here. We'll take care of everything else from here. And that's the game plan. That's the way it's been, and that's the way it has been, and that's the only thing they're offering, and the only thing they're looking for is for you to promote their game plan. That's all. After that, get out the damn way so they can go build some more skyscrapers and build some more developments and do what they doing. They don't want you involved in anything else. You don't get to tell them how to run their society. They want you to go ahead and drop off the money, and you don't get to tell them how to do a damn thing else. Nothing. The only thing you can do for them is drop off that paper. After that, get the hell out the way, and they're going to do it however they're going to do it. They're going to do it however they are going to do it. And we need to have the same damn thing, but we have politicians who keep only promoting stuff that keeps them involved and keeps them in our business and keeps them in our mix. They keep doing that. So the big issue that we've had to have is we've had to have an ideology that says, yeah, this is our agenda, and this is why they began sounding the alarm. By the way, this is why they began sounding the alarm. They began sounding the alarm, and if you'll remember, one of the folks who was sounding the biggest alarm was Joy Reid. Damn! Oh, the 720 degrees of analysis you'll receive absolutely nowhere else. We're bringing it full circle twice over. Remember, it was Joy Reid who the Democrats sent out there to openly speak against us. Remember, they were trying to label us as black separatists. Remember what they said, that the original crime and the original sin of us labeling, saying that we don't want to be called minorities. We don't want to be called a minority, that we're specifically distinguishing and delineating ourselves. Remember what she and the others said was the specific problem. Why, you're separatists. Remember? They said the issue was that we were wanting to be separatists. Well, by definition, if you're not separatist, that means you're not under our control. And remember, she was leading the charge to attack us and say that we were trying to be separatists. You don't want to be under the big umbrella. No, we want to lead our own damn thing. We're not looking to be under nobody's umbrella, because your umbrella's a trick bag, and we're not going for that. So don't ever forget where this came from. They were telling us that the problem with us was that we were wanting to be separatists. We wanted to be apart. That we didn't, and what they really meant was that we didn't want to go along with the damn program. So please understand, I know it seems one way, but when you have a group of people, now here's the critical key part, a group of people that begin to coalesce in a specific way, that is an agenda that germinated and originated with you and did not come from these other people. That's the part that they consider dangerous. You came up with these ideas on your own. You're pushing it on your own. Well, you see, they haven't had the opportunity yet to go through it and rifle through it and mix it up and throw the lemon twist into it and corrupt it. They haven't had the chance to do that. And when they talk to you, they have to talk to you on your terms. That's the dangerous part. When you separate yourself, you have begun the process of setting up your own infrastructure. And please understand, infrastructure doesn't begin with buildings and monuments and statues. Infrastructure begins with a unified people with a different idea. The buildings and the statues and the get-togethers, that comes later. Infrastructure begins with people who have a unified idea. That's whether you're building a bridge, a subway, or a new nation. A unified idea. A group of people who are all on the same page. Now, the thing that they don't like is that it began small. What? Now, recognize what the next issue they had with this, when they recognized from the beginning that this was dangerous, because this began small. Okay, let me explain something to you all about the App Store. Jason, the App Store? Yeah, there's a lot for you to learn right now. A lot for you to learn. You see, there are key critical metrics that Silicon Valley looks for whether or not an app is going to become, number one, viable, and number two, dominant. Did you get that? They're looking to see whether an app not just makes it, but whether it becomes viable. Okay, that's the beginning. But then whether it's going to become dominant. In reality, what they look for is an app that when it's released, it catches on, but that it catches on at a moderate, sustainable pace. The scariest thing making an app isn't that when people ignore it. The scariest thing is that when you make an app and it has a huge amount of people that adopt it very, very quickly, it just comes out of the gate with this spike. In Silicon Valley, technology analysts understand that's not a good thing. when you have a large spike in people using an app and gravitating to something quickly, because what they understand is that just like this huge number of people showed up overnight, that's the definition of a fad. If all these people showed up to support this app overnight, then that's usually a sign that they're gonna leave just as quickly as they showed up. So what you really want is an app that comes out of the gate, it's got a good number of adoption, but that it doesn't move too quickly so that you have sustainable growth. Because an app is going to make mistakes. An app is going to have problems. You're going to have folk who come and leave. You want to start slowly so that you make sure that over time you're perfecting the app and improving the app so that you retain it, so that as the new people begin to show up, you don't have a situation where a bunch of people showed up and didn't like what they saw, which means that all the people are going to leave. So your app, even if it became viable, it's not going to become dominant because you had a large number of people show up really, really fast, which means that if everybody likes it, you're good. But if everybody doesn't, then just like that large number quickly came, you're going to have a large number quickly leave. You have witnessed this kind of thing happen over and over again. Somebody said Clubhouse. You take a look at Threads. You take a look at Telegram. When you have a large number of people, show up immediately, they didn't have time to grow organically. You don't have the ability to make any mistakes. Everybody's got to just love what they see from the minute they get there. And while that's great to aspire to make an app that everybody just loves as soon as they begin using it, that's not really the way that works. You really need to give yourself a couple of years to build sustainable growth and to be able to retain the people that you have. So in reality, blowing up overnight and moving real damn quickly, that's a warning sign that you will not be able to sustain it. So in reality, moving more slowly is a better sign that you will be able to sustain the growth that you make. And that's what it's been with us. It has moved slowly over time, but our ability to retain people has increased. That's why they were so scared when they saw us. And when we say something now, it's like, by the way, they're retaining people. We're not a fad. We are not the most fashionable trend. We're not looking to be popular. That scares people. And it should. It should scare them because that is what upsets a status quo. Not a bunch of people showing up because they were bored. Not a flash mob. You never saw a flash mob that was able to change society. What you saw is a small group of protesters that became just gradually bigger and bigger and bigger. A small core group of people who had an indefatigable, look it up, who had a tireless, unshakable agenda and an unshakable cohesion. Dare I use the word unity? A small group that was unified around their ideology and their principles, and they would not waver from it. And every week that group gets a little bigger, like Fight Club. A few more people show up. You have some go, you have some leave. But over time, you notice you have a few more people show up, and a few more people show up, and a few more people show up. That becomes a thing right there. That becomes a thing right there. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that. You're looking for that. People get worried when they see that. People get worried when they see that. We were supposed to be they look to see the signs that this is going to be a flash in the pan. They look for signs that you're not going to be able to sustain this so that they know just how long they have to wait you out. Which is what they're really hoping for. They're really hoping for that. They're hoping that you'll be a flash in the pan, that you all will get out of your system and vent, and then we can get back to business as usual. That's what they're waiting on. Their greatest fear is that that's not going to happen this time. This is the new normal. But what comes next? When they start becoming afraid that this is the new normal, well, what is going to come next now? Well, now they're going to become afraid. Now they're going to see, okay, I told you about this years in advance. What is the crumb that we must flick off the table that will get you to at least say, okay, we found one thing that we can agree on. We can't agree on everything here, but we can find one thing that we agree on here, right? And then you can go for that. That's what they're looking for. I'm just letting you all know here tonight that if we do agree to one thing, it's going to be the one big thing that changes everything. We are not going to agree to crumbs. We're not going to agree to crumbs. We're not going to do that. And that's scary. That's scary because the Democrats are hoping that they can come back in 2 years, and they've already telegraphed exactly what they intend to do. They intend to come back in 2 years and tell us, what about Medicare and Medicaid and diabetes medication? That's what they intend to do, folks. I'm letting you know right now, the Democrat strategy for 2026 is to say, Orange man bad. Well, he is, but just because Trump is bad, that doesn't make you good. They're going to come back next year and tell all of us, we need to be worried about Medicare and Medicaid and food stamps and diabetes medication. That's what we need to be concerned about. They're already letting you know. Let me go ahead and say something else here right now about the DEI thing. There's some folks out there who are talking about, a day without a Negro, and we're going to target and this, that, and the other. Folks, let me explain something to you. Please name for me the last time that Jewish people had a boycott about anything. Damn! No, let's get down to business and talk reality for a moment. When was the last time you saw Jewish people boycott any damn thing? They got that black woman kicked out of Harvard or Ivy League school and didn't have one damn protest, didn't have one damn boycott, didn't have one damn get together. Bill Ackman and a couple of billionaires got together and said, hey, y'all, she got to go. And that was the end of that. That was the end of that. My issue is not Target having no DEI program. Yes, you need to be aware when people have hostility towards something there. But the real thing is, by the way, are we discussing what we need to do so that we are not beholden to anybody else's program? Jewish people created their own DEI program, and now they're getting Trump to go along, and let's go ahead and codify that in the law. My issue is not so much with Target. What the hell are we doing for ourselves to make sure that we are not beholden to other people's programs, other people's whims? What are we doing about that? We are 0.5% of the nation's economy. How much do you think they're going to miss that? We need to be in a position where it doesn't matter what Walmart or Target do. We good either which way. Let me go ahead and remind y'all of something. Oh, y'all don't want to go here? You all don't want to follow me where we about to go. You don't really want to do that. You just think you do. People, do you understand something about kosher food? What? Oh, you don't want to go here? Folks, the mafia got in on that. These people don't even eat the way the rest of us are doing there. They can't go to Target. They can't go to Walmart. Because you ain't serving the food that they agree with. Do you understand that? They're not concerned about what you doing over there because you don't sell Jewish clothes. You don't sell Jewish food. So it doesn't matter to them what Target is doing. The only thing they'll do is buy stock in Target or stock in Walmart. They are not Target or Walmart customers. Oh, hell, they didn't want to hear this tonight. They don't want to hear me say this tonight. By the way, these other folk over here don't give a damn what's happening at Target because they are not Target customers. And by the way, that goes for the Asians. Damn! Oh yeah, one more thing, just in case you thought that was an anomaly, that goes for the Asians. For example, if you're somebody like me, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of inside. I've talked about this before, a little bit of inside baseball. If you're somebody like me and you like calamari, calamari can be hard to find. One of the things that folks tell you how to do is, by the way, if you have an Asian store around, because a lot of your Asian stores, your Asian seafood stores, a lot of them source seafood that's not necessarily regularly available, calamari being one of them. I'm talking about the calamari, the hood of the squid, folks. I'm talking about the hood of it, not the tentacles. You can find tentacles all the damn time. Finding hoods is a bit different. I understand calamari might not be your thing. I didn't say you got to sit at the damn table with me.
And deal with it, nigga.
I didn't say let me get you a big ass plate. I didn't say that, okay? So get over it. I didn't say you got to sit there with me. I didn't say we can't be friends if you ain't eating calamari. It's not. I'm not like the vegans, okay? Vegans are terrible people. Vegans are awful people because if you're not sipping orange tea and eating leaves all the time, you can't get along with your vegan friends. Your vegan friends insist if you're not eating the same thing they got on their plate, we can't be friends. People, you can be friends with me. You don't have to eat the calamari. That's up to you. You don't have to do it. Okay. But what I am saying is that, by the way, the Asians got it. Now, in some cases, I ain't sure how damn old the stuff is, but by the way, the Asians got it. You tell me, when was the last time you saw an Asian family? I'm talking about Chinese, Korean, Japanese. Tell me the last time you went through Walmart or Target and saw those people in the grocery section. I'll wait. Damn! I don't care what city you're in. When was the last time you all were standing in line at Target or Walmart or Kroger's next to an Asian family, or in Whole Foods for that matter? When was the last time you were standing in line next to an Asian family? You know that their population numbers in America have been increasing, but did you notice they still don't go to the places that you go to? Their population numbers have increased, but they still don't go to the places that you do. No wonder they have their restaurants and have their seafood places, because you don't even have the food they want. They got to get it out the mud. They got to get it out the mud. So they're not worried about, take a look at how many groups I'm showing you. Don't give a damn what Target is doing. Don't give a damn what Whole Foods is doing. Don't give a damn what Walmart is doing. Don't give a damn what Costco is doing. Now, we know they eating. Yeah, they got their own seafood stores. They source these things themselves. Okay, in Jewish society, they got their own kosher food stores and their own kosher restaurants. They source that they damn selves. Do you see the difference? That's not an economic difference. That's a cultural difference. The mindset is different. I'm opening your eyes tonight, not for some historical anecdote that's 30 or 40 or 50 years old. I'm talking about where you are right now today. You don't see that. But the Democrats have you concerned with that. And what I'm saying is, yes, you should be aware of who's with you and who is not, but that should be all part of a plan of what you're going to do about them. It needs to be all part of that plan. It needs to be a part of that. Without that, it doesn't work. Without that, it cannot work. Before I move on to the next thing here, I did want to just briefly acknowledge here, in the last couple of weeks, we've had some notable passings here. Roberta Flack. We just got news here about Angie Stone. So, she died in a car accident. So there's a lot going on out there for our people as time goes on. We need to be cognizant of where we've been. We need to be cognizant of what's happening, cognizant of our luminaries, cognizant of the passage of time, so that you understand that where we at is not where we're always going to be. So I just want to briefly acknowledge that, our condolences to their families. Just a reminder that life is short. It's just another reminder that life is short and that we need to live it to the fullest, stand by our principles, make every moment count. So take this as another reminder that even the things that you love most will not be with you forever. So this is another reminder to dedicate yourself and rededicate yourself and stay committed to your principles and give us something for the next Angie Stone and the next Roberta Flack to do even bigger and better than we've had before. It's a daunting task. It can be, but it's the one that falls to us, and it's of critical, crucial importance that we have that. That was something that you drew on. That was something that benefited you. And our job and our responsibility is to make sure that it benefits future generations. So it's the passing of an era, and there will be more eras, but I want to take a moment there to acknowledge that. I'd like to thank everyone who's contributed to tonight's program here. Big shout out here to Nancy King.
I told you all that I was the greatest of all time. I told you today I'm still the greatest of all time.
Nancy King said, you're right, TBA. Who is Cuomo trying to convince? The Democrats are done. Thank you very much for your support, sister, tonight. We appreciate that. To my man Cyberdyne, thank you very much for your support. Chief Rocka, thank you very much there as well. Terrell Evans, I appreciate that. Leviathan, Marjorie Lyons, thank you very much as well. My man, Mr. Richburg, I want to thank everyone who's contributed to support tonight's program. We appreciate that. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, I'll see about firing up the Zoom. We'll take some calls from you and more. This is the Black Channel.
When you visit MrBeTheTeacher.com, you can get a copy of his award-winning book, Guidelines for the Successful Student. While you're there, grab one of his newest tunes along with fun and educational lyric videos.
Never give up, don't worry, never give up, study. In order to
2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6.
Now swap names, he, she, they, and we. Simplify the tally divides as the fathering guide. Money multiplies and shares of what they buy.
You can also acquire his tutoring services via varsitytutors.com or tutor.com. If you wish to speak to Steve Burgess directly, you can do so through MrBeTheTeacher.com.
The Honey Badger and the Mongoose is a children's story for the family of how a honey badger and mongoose fight an evil alliance of venomous cobra, snakes, and hyenas that overhauls the balance of the savannah. The Big Five. The honey badger demands reparations. Will the Big Five give the honey badger reparations? Can the evil alliance of cobras and hyenas be stopped? The best new price for the hard and soft cover is at www.thehoneyBadgerandthemongoose.com. You can also find this book at Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. The Zoom link is pinned there at the top of the chat room there. We're talking here tonight about the Democrats in disarray. Do they have a plan? Do the Democrats actually have a plan out here as Donald Trump is leading his damn sideshow and making an ass of himself in front of the world? Well, I guess we all got to do what we're good at. Meanwhile, what the Democrats doing? They're doing everything they possibly can to ignore what the hell they told us. Now, if the Democrats were smart, which they are smart, but they're also diabolical and evil, if the Democrats were smart, they would be coming to us and saying, okay, let's go ahead and see what we can do to make this thing happen here so we can get you all support. If you've been to South Carolina, if you've been to North Carolina where the Democrats are getting their asses kicked in and whatnot, you take a look at what's happening. You have gentrification at an alarming rate, and gentrification because there is money coming in. There's money coming in. There's major money moving, but we're not eligible for it. There's the issue that we're having. And if they were serious about it, then they would be coming to us for the same thing. They'd be coming to us with the same damn offer. We don't need to be looking at everybody else. We need to have ours. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get over here on Zoom. I've got Adrienne over here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Adrienne?
Hi, Jason. How are you? B1 to everyone. Great program tonight. I'm Adrienne Michelle from Tuckahoe, New York. I think we spoke a couple of weeks ago. I was intending to attend the Albany event with you, but things didn't work out. I'm glad things did work out for those who made it. Great program tonight, as I mentioned. Going back to what you were saying as far as Cuomo and how people rally behind him, recently Congressman Jamal Bowman released a plan to create a super PAC. Are you familiar?
Yeah, like I say, I mean, once again, the devil is in the details of everything. So we'll see what occurs there, but the devil is always in the details.
Right. I agree. I know that there are certain points to what he's looking to do under the super PAC that is not priority when I look at it as a whole. However, there are some things that I think that we could rally behind. And with that support, it could potentially be a good thing if he gets the right people involved. What would be some of your concerns that you have?
Okay. Here's my thing here, folks. I just want to take a brief moment to remind people, when Jason's not saying anything, Jason's trying to say something. So when folks ask me, Jason, do you know about this? Or do you know about that? When have I not been one of the most informed people you all know? So if Jason knows and he's not saying anything, he's trying to say something. Because when folks come on my program and mention names or mention, oh, this person trying to do this, trying to do that, they get a whole lot more attention than they ordinarily would have had. And especially if it seems like I'm endorsing it or supporting it, whatever, they get a whole lot more attention than they seem to have had. Had folks for years talking about Jill Stein this and Jill Stein that and all these old folk over here. And I've talked to Butch Ware and Jamu Baraka. I talked to both of them. For those of you who saw my documentary film Race War, now this will be the first time I'm saying this tonight, but for those of you who saw my documentary film Race War, Jamu Baraka was a part of that. But if you got the deluxe edition of it, of Race War, with the special edition of it, then you got most of the interview I shot with him. And that's when you realize that in the middle of that, you got something you didn't hear anywhere else. So all the so-called Afrocentric Pan-Africanists who were promoting him all that time, I'm sitting there with him, and then he busts out and says, and by the way, patriarchy, which is as big or a bigger threat than white supremacy. So when folk were trying to push that, I'm like, okay, so who were the folk who were promoting him in the first place? What were your priorities? Because there's no way in the hell this was the first time he said this, or that this is the first time he expressed that sentiment. There's no way that he did that. So why were y'all backing this to begin with? What are people doing their due diligence? And that's a very critical thing to me, is folk doing their due diligence, as opposed to, well, they heard of somebody and this person was on CNN or this person was in Congress, and then they just fall lockstep behind it. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't care where they came from. There's no reason not to do your due diligence about it. Now, for Jamal Bowman, everybody and their mama wants to sit up here and start a PAC, and that's all great and that's all wonderful and whatnot. My question is, sister, do you know what his agenda is?
Great question. I did look at some of the ideas that he has behind the super PAC. And again, not all of them, I believe, are priority based on what I would support. It does talk about...
And yet she's here to introduce this as a subject to conversation.
Yes.
So absolutely. Here, on the one hand, well, I'm not here to promote it, but I'm here to promote it. I'm just like, okay, folks.
I like to think that your platform is a great place to brainstorm, right? We do come on to learn a lot from you, and I appreciate you giving us the information we need from the point of view of where we're coming from.
Right, but right. But our time is limited as a people, and well, it's a place to brainstorm. Yeah, but did you bring something that was worthy of the time that it will take us to brainstorm over it? Because if everybody just drags every random dead cat out of the street, that's the thing right there that becomes an issue. So we should never get into a situation where everything is general chit chat. There should be an agenda. So if you have because there's a whole bunch of folk out there who want to start PACs and have started them. What is it about this one that has gotten your attention to the extent that you think this is something you need to promote?
Great question. I'm going to pull it up just so I'm speaking to it. And
yikes.
Listen, I just found out about it 2 days ago. So
okay, but if you are going to bring this to other adults and start promoting it, then shouldn't you first have made sure it was worthy of your time and effort to promote?
Yes. And to your point.
Okay, stop. But you're already here, which means I'm asking third time. What was it that you heard or saw from Jamal Bowman's suggestion of a PAC that got your attention to the point that you felt of all the things you could have mentioned, you overlooked those and brought specifically this? What is it that you saw or heard that you thought was worth us examining? So far, you haven't named anything. You've been asked more than once. Ma'am, can you just tell me what it was you saw from Jamal Bowman's PAC announcement that you said, hey, we need to promote that right there?
Police reform.
What? Was that a serious answer?
That was my answer, yes. However, I want to also add, I hadn't heard of any other super PACs. So that helped me become more interested in learning more about it, being that he's a congressperson who was X'd out by a Jewish super PAC. So the fact that he was interested in creating one to counteract what took him out drew me in.
Okay, police ma'am. Other than police reform, what else was it that you thought was so interesting or so appealing?
Let's see.
She's sitting there looking up at the ceiling, y'all, in deep contemplation.
Why are you telling my business?
But she stopped all of us to make this a subject to conversation, even though every minute of our day is valuable. And it's like, by the way, have y'all considered this? And she hasn't even considered it.
I did, but I
Okay,
didn't.
baby, you're not looking at the ceiling. You're not staring at the ceiling like Mork and Mindy looking for UFOs if you've carefully considered something, ma'am. I asked you a question and it's dead silence and you look at the ceiling like Eric Sermon. No, ma'am. No, you have not considered this. And when I asked you what it was, you named, quote, police reform. And by the way, you can't tell me what his definition of police reform is.
Gaining respect from and reforming how police having police accountability, transparency to people who need it most.
Those are slogans, ma'am. You're not saying anything. Those are slogans.
Again.
And by the way, the words you just said, transparency. Where are you reading that from Jamal Bowman and his pack? Where are you getting that from?
On the website, Built to Win.
Okay, are you referring to builttowin.org?
Yes.
Very glad you said that there, as a matter of fact. I'm very glad you said that because I just so happen to have that up and have had that up now during the course of this discourse. Are you sure you want to keep going?
No.
Yikes. Okay.
I did want to have the conversation.
Okay, ma'am. Jason, patience. Okay, Jason is working on patience lately, y'all. They are damn sure stressing mine. Okay, you all can take a look on your screen right here. This is builttowin.org's homepage. I want to read for you all what it says on the homepage. Listen to this. You all are looking at it right now. Unlocking the power of the people, transforming politics for good. Scroll on down. A movement to mobilize 5 million voters and defeat corporate rule. For too long, the system has failed us. Okay, baby, are you breathing? Okay, she's doing the big girl breathing. Okay, let me turn this sound here down. She's doing the big girl breathing here. For too long, the system has failed us. Politicians ignore us. Corporations hoard wealth while working people struggle. Big money and special interests control our democracy. That ends now. Built to Win is a purpose-driven super PAC designed to turn non-voters into a powerful political force, starting with Black, Arab, Asian, and Latino communities. Now, you said that you were at their homepage. You said you were at their website. This is the very first thing you read. This was the very first thing you read on their website, ma'am.
It is.
Uh-huh. Now, you said you did your due diligence.
I have.
Was this a part of your due diligence?
It is.
So the sentence I just read was part of your due diligence.
Yes.
And you still felt that this was proper and suitable to bring to other adults, right? Yes. After you read that.
Yes.
I will let that speak for itself.
One more thing.
We are, ma'am, wait a while.
Well,
we are organizing, mobilizing, and empowering low propensity voters who feel disillusioned and unheard. Because when we vote, we win. When we organize, we build power. When we lead, we change the future. Our mission. We are building a political movement that unlocks the unlimited power of the people. Our goal is to exponentially increase voter turnout among disengaged communities, dismantle corporate control over our democracy, and elect leaders who fight for us, not for billionaires and special interests. From Yonkers to Gaza and everywhere. From Yonkers to Gaza? What? Y'all, she felt like this was, why, Jason, this is right up our alley. Okay, where's my short bus sound effect? I'm still trying to get that. From Yonkers to Gaza and everywhere in between. Y'all, you do know it's a long way from Yonkers to Gaza, right? I mean, that's a long way. That's not like going across the street. That's not like driving across to New Jersey. From Yonkers to Gaza is a long trip. We will fight for justice and reclaim our humanity. Okay, I didn't know we needed help with our humanity, but thank you very much. All right, now down to his points down here. What we're fighting for. Now, this is from his website that she claims she went to. That she claims she vetted. People, what we're fighting for, take a look at what's on the list here. First thing, universal health care. Nigga, please. Affordable housing. No one should pay more than 25% of their income for a home. He has no plan. This is not something you can click on. He's just listed this here. No plan. Good jobs and living wages. This is more of that New York babble. Hey, folks, after they raised the minimum wage in New York, did it become easier to live there? Asking for a friend. By the way, folks, after New York raised the minimum wage to quote the highest in the nation, so New York became more affordable for you after that because they demanded that they raise your wages, right? Oh, I'm sorry. After they raised the minimum wage in New York then had a new headline. Manhattan has the highest rent in the nation, $5,000 a month. Damn! That was the direct result of raising the minimum wage. Yeah, we raised the minimum wage to the highest in the nation. Now the rent's the highest in the nation. Oh, yikes. And his suggestion is to do more of that. I need y'all to understand, you got a bunch of, just because somebody runs in politics doesn't mean they're smart. You have a lot of dumb people who are in politics. The smart folk are usually working in hedge funds and corporate America, and then we get left with the damn C and D students in politics. Climate justice. Folks, these are the first 4 damn things. Universal health care, affordable housing, living wage, climate justice, fully funded public schools, a moral foreign policy, comprehensive immigration reform.
Nigga, please.
Man, where your people from?
North Carolina.
Okay, we need to go back a few generations. Where your grandmama and great grandmama from?
Grandma is from Greenville, North Carolina.
How are you in New York if your people from Carolinas?
You already know how that goes.
No, I don't. It's usually it's always they leave New York and go to the Carolinas. How you end up in New York with folk from the Carolinas?
They got chased out of the Carolinas.
What about your daddy's side of the family, ma'am? Which part of the Caribbean they from?
They are Haitian.
There you go.
But they've been here since the 1800s.
Okay, but my point is, this is why you read this on here. You see, this ain't got a damn thing to do to benefit us. She saw the immigration reform. Hey, can I sell y'all on that?
No. That's not what stood out to me.
Okay, name for me one thing that is relevant to what we discuss here, what we prioritize here. What part of our agenda is on anything that I just read?
You forgot it. An end to mass incarceration and police brutality.
By the way, and that was the very last damn thing he had listed on there. So what you're saying is that an end to mass incarceration with no plan, by the way, there's nothing you can click on here, no plan. All that stuff you said before, I'm still waiting to see the word transparency once.
Sorry, it was transforming. But I do want to say, right?
Stop.
Based off of my relationship in politics,
Quit.
I know that Jamal Bowman, when congressman, was one of the people who
signed. Ma'am, stop. Brake pedal. Y'all, I said, I don't see the word transparency yet. It wasn't transparency, it's transforming. I have got to stop people to acknowledge that. We are not going to just drive right by that, because she called me up to say, Jason, I have something to contribute. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. Jason, he said he said police reform and transparency. I'm like, where's the word transparency? Oh, it actually is transforming. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yes, that's exactly it. Yes, that's exactly what it is, ma'am. This is bull jive.
Can I say something?
You've
or
said
can I complete my thought?
Ma'am, this is bull jive. This is bull jive. This is more New York Democrat babble. This whole website is New York Democrat babble. The same garbage Andrew Cuomo was saying. This is all they sell up there in New York. And all of it has failed. It has had detrimental impacts to black folk there. And this is all all the political class wants to talk about. The same garbage. And now she rolled up on us to sell us. And by the way, have you considered the garbage pack from Jamal Bowman? No, I have not. I have not considered the Built to Lose pack. No, I haven't. The Built to Lose pack? No.
Can I ask, What's the purpose of a PAC, in your opinion?
The purpose of a PAC is supposed to be to raise money to promote their political agenda.
One person?
No, what I'm saying is that before you get involved with a PAC, you need to know what that PAC is organizing for. When you have a PAC, you are organizing for Jewish people. When you have the Cairn, you're organizing for Muslims and Arabs. You need to know what it is that this PAC is being organized for. A PAC is not a charity, ma'am. A PAC is not a charity, which means it does not serve all people. A PAC is organized for a specific purpose and a specific agenda. So before you ever even mention that PAC's name, did you do your due diligence to make sure that their agenda is aligned with yours? You didn't.
I didn't know that there was any other PACs that exist that actually bring up what we're looking for.
But this one didn't either. I asked you to define police reform and you came up with a bunch of ready-made babble that didn't have nothing to do with the hell what he said.
Well, when he was in Congress, as I was stating earlier.
What does it say on the PAC's website about police reform? It says an end to mass incarceration and police brutality, justice and safety for all, and that's all it says. You added a bunch of stuff that ain't even on here. You added a bunch of details that don't even exist.
My goal is to help shape the PAC. That's what I came here to see, if that would be of interest.
My goal is to shape the PAC. Ma'am.
Yes.
Brake pedal. Did you talk to Jamal Bowman, who looks like he come from your lineage, but did you talk to Jamal to see whether or not he is interested in that?
Yes.
Okay, and what did Jamal tell you?
He's interested in conversations. He wants support to hear from the people who are interested to move this PAC forward.
Okay, you talked to Jamal Bowman.
Yes.
When?
Yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
I'd like to talk to Jamal.
You have my number. We can call him together.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
I'm here for it.
Okay,
but
well.
What I was saying before is that when Jamal Bowman was in Congress, he actually was a person who signed the bill to do the New York State reparations legislation.
That's great. That's grand. That's wonderful. That's awesome. His new super PAC is doing everything counterproductive to us.
This is why we have to help shape the PAC. And I thought this would be a great idea to have you, if not your followers as well, to help dissect this to find out how we can make it what we need it to be. Even though I do believe he's not going to be, so gung-ho about X-naying any of the other topics, but I think that if we could get people to kind of
the stuff on his website is the typical immigrant first liberal Democrat agenda. This is not in any way what we doing. Well, he was suggesting reparations, ma'am. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
No, I said when he was in Congress.
When he was in Congress, no, they were not. No, he wasn't. No, ma'am. Wrong.
Lie.
Once again, the devil is in the details. That's why you don't want to pull up what you're claiming that he was promoting. You don't want to pull that up. You do not want to pull that up and get into the details of it, what it actually, just like his website, you're promoting stuff and not what it actually says. Well, I want y'all to think this is what it says. And then we ask, by the way, what does it actually say? Oh, wait a minute. And there's where the problem comes from. So I can understand how you two got together and whatnot. I'm sure it was, a jerk chicken jamboree. But what I am going to say here, no, I'm just saying, but
I know my lineage, and I'm proud of my.
What I'm saying though is that you came to us to promote this PAC, and all we had to do was go straight to it. He's talking about health care. That's a non-issue. Affordable housing. Get our money right, we okay. Good jobs and living wages. We don't want good jobs, we want our economy. Climate justice, that's a distraction. fully funded public schools for folks who send their kids to private schools, telling us about public schools, moral foreign policy. I'm worried about domestic policy, comprehensive immigration reform.
Nigga, please.
An end to mass incarceration and police brutality. With the economics together, we ain't worried about that neither. So this whole thing right here is problematic. It sounds like what he's really doing is appealing to, PAC money and party money from other people. That's what that seems like. Digital organizing, targeting, reaching voters with personalized, relevant content, social media campaigns, mobilizing through Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and more. Influencer and community leader partnerships, trust matters and use it wisely. WhatsApp and text messaging, direct engagement for voter education and mobilization. Misinformation defense, combating lies and voter suppression tactics. Damn! Well, that one right there sticks out to me. I would be very interested to hear what Jamal Bowman's definition of misinformation and voter suppression tactics is, because I know what Joy Reid's definition was. Now I know what she said that was, why she said that disinformation and voter suppression was us. She said that we, here in the new black media, that we were voter suppression and disinformation. And now, what do you know? I'll be damned. I see the exact same phrase on his site, so I'm very curious to figure out who he's referring to when he says that, because I don't see anything on his site about reparations, ma'am. Now, you tried to pass off the lie that he's interested in that, but we went to his site. Why is it that that's the only thing his site doesn't talk about if he's concerned about that? He talking about illegals. He didn't say a word about reparations. Can you please explain to me why, if he's an advocate for that, why is it that finally when he gets to put together his own PAC, reparations is nowhere to be found?
Because that work is already being done in New York State, but I put a link in the chat so you could see exactly what I was explaining.
You cannot put a link in the chat room, ma'am. You just think you did. There's nothing in the chat room from you. Why don't you go ahead and email that to me?
It's in the Zoom chat.
Okay. There's only one chat, and that is for YouTube. Let me take this over here right quick, y'all. She's putting me through changes, but I will adapt and overcome.
And I can also email it to you. No worries.
Okay. I found the offending article here. Oh boy, this will be fun. She sent me something from LoHUD. That's great. That's grand. That's wonderful. And talking about black folk from the North and the South. That's all wonderful there as well. The bill, co-sponsored by Bowman, will be introduced in 2023. Comes 35 years after a bill set up for a federal commission to study reparations was first introduced. The bill remains pending and was reintroduced again this year as well. For Bowman, the reparations discussion encompasses a broad look at racial inequities across American society, including housing, mass incarceration, higher education, and wealth inequality. Would you like me to go on?
No, I think we can.
Stop!
I mean, you can.
No, we ain't gonna do that.
The exact information.
Okay, first of all, you're not gonna talk over me either. Trust me, you want the non-sarcastic version of Jason. You don't want the sarcastic version. You don't want that one.
I'm a New Yorker. I'm here.
Okay, ma'am. I'm from Louisiana. Y'all ain't ready. Trust me, I'm wide awake on the weekend. For those of you who were wondering what it said, let me go ahead and put this on the screen. As I told you here, the devil's in the details. They always start off good, and then we see how it goes. Bowman was among 9 original sponsors of House Resolution 414 in 2023, which in a gripping narrative, oh boy, was this his press secretary? details the history of enslavement in America and the vestiges of slavery that the sponsors say continue to inflict harm on Black Americans. The bill calls for policies that would accompany the monetary awards, free college education at the nation's 107 historically Black colleges and universities, funding for the National Publishers Association and National Association of Black Broadcasters, and restoring of voting rights for persons currently or previously incarcerated. So they want to give money to HBCUs. Now, here's where the trick bag is, people. The trick bag here is that they already give money to HBCUs. So what will happen is that they'll introduce this. They'll talk about cash payments. The cash payments will be just like California. That'll be the first thing they kick off. And then they'll tell you, but you know, we did agree that we can allocate more money to HBCUs. In other words, we're only going to do what we're already doing. Now, when they talk to Jewish people, there's not 15,000 things on the table. They just have one issue that they talk about, and that's it. They don't talk about 15, 17,000 different things. The Jewish folk don't give you an opportunity to dilute what they came to talk about. When they come to talk to us, automatically they start diluting things. So they lure you in with the, hey, we discussed cash payments. Are you discussing it as a singular issue? No, we got along with all these other things here. Oh, the stuff you were already doing. I have a feeling that this will be more of that same damn trick bag. Donald Trump gave more money to HBCUs. Joe Biden gave more money to HBCUs. They have no problem doing the HBCU thing and the organizations thing, which, by the way, this is their payoff. By the way, folks, this is their payoff. Their payoff to these people, the HBCUs, to keep telling you in the schools, vote Democrat. National Association of Black Broadcasters to tell you this is their payoff to them, like Roland Martin, National Association of Black Journalists, this is their payoff to them. So you ain't gonna get no money, but the National Association of Black Journalists will, the HBCUs will, so they can go screw off more of the damn money. Yeah, they'll get something. They'll get that. And by the way, this is all exactly what we've seen and heard before. It's not new. It's not new. And one more thing, when it comes to Asian folk and Jewish folk, they just throw in checks. They didn't have to get, there's no big fight over it. Isn't that interesting? There's no big fight over it. So it is not his, I'm not going to impugn his motives. What I am going to say is, wow, this all sounds exactly familiar. But you know what? I'll do you a solid. I will do you a solid here. Since you came all this way for this, why don't you and me see about touching bases with former Congressman Bowman? Why don't we see about touching bases with him? And we can see if we can have us a powwow and parlay over this and see if we can have a discussion about that. How about that?
I'd love that.
Okay. Then what I want you to do is go ahead and you're going to call up Jamal and you're going to let him know that we are inviting him for our presence. And we can see about, I won't bring him here on the Black channel. I'll go ahead and see about talking to him and see if it's worth going beyond that. And if there's something that we can do business on, we can see about conducting it then. So since you say you spoke to Jamal just yesterday, you two are fast and good pen pals. I'm glad to hear that. So now Jamal can be my pen pal too.
Let's hope so. But can I ask something of you?
Oh boy.
All I would like to do is learn more about the other hacks that are designed to serve us so I can learn about what they're doing.
Okay. I haven't seen a single pack anywhere that is designed, intended, operating, or anything else to quote unquote serve us.
Okay.
Here's the issue, people. A pack is not a birthday party. A pack does not exist without money. The whole purpose of a PAC is for organizing to aggregate money. That's its entire purpose of existing. It doesn't have any purpose beyond that. None. So if you don't have a plan in place to do that, that's where your PAC is going to fail. Even if the agenda is solid. No finance, no progress. So that's more important than anything. Which I don't have an issue or a problem discussing that either. I don't have an issue or a problem discussing that either. But that needs to be the center of attention on the agenda. In the current environment, if your PAC is not carrying millions, you're not going to get anything done. Jamal Bowman was removed from where he was because AIPAC, the Jewish PAC over there, they spent, $20 million, I think it was, some outrageous number like that, for a house race that the normal cost was hundreds of thousands, and AIPAC shows up out of nowhere and drops tens of millions.
And his predecessor who won is holding a town hall next week on March 5th.
Okay, his predecessor who won. Okay. That's an interesting turn of phrase right there. I have to check and see if that's actually valid or not. But the bottom line is these folks came ready for bear. AIPAC also targeted Cori Bush, used the same strategy. Now, these are Jewish folk who don't even come from the neighborhood. Was there some chicanery involved? Probably was. But the real thing about it is we need to be aware. By the way, they did not come. And here's the real thing. AIPAC is worried about Israel and promoting Jewish interests. None of their ads against Cori Bush or Jamal Bowman were about Israel or Jewish interests. You and I can put together as much as we want to. We're not going to get Jewish people to vote against a Jewish politician. So the real thing is what in the hell happened here? That all very much comes into play. So you have some studying to do. You're going to need to go ahead and do that. But what I want you to do is you're going to go ahead and call Mr. Bowman. And then after you have spoken to him and made sure that the way is cleared on that, then you're going to get in touch with me. And we're going to go ahead and talk to Jamal and see if we can hammer something out. Maybe we can do something to help him.
Or help us.
No. Now, you're thinking, I want to stop this for a moment here for y'all to understand something. She's got it wrong. This is what I mean by she's got studying to do. Folks, you don't come to politicians talking about what they gonna do for you. You want to talk about some gangsterism? What Suge Knight said about Vanilla Ice and Ice Babies. When he talked about Vanilla Ice said what they gonna do for us, and he said, no, it's what I'm gonna do for you. He said you can't. He said they talked about what they were gonna give us, how much money they were gonna give us for Ice. He said you can't give me nothing. It's what I'm gonna give you on account of the fact that you owe my client. You don't own this. So for Jamal Bowman, it's like no, brother. We're here to talk about what we gonna do for you. We're here to talk about what we gonna do for you on account of the fact that you can't get nothing done without us. So I'm here to talk about what we're gonna do for you. What we're gonna do for you is stop this from being an exercise in futility. That's what we gonna do for you. Then we're going to talk about what you're going to do after that. Notice I didn't say do for us. No, but first we're going to talk about, hey, Jamal, no. We came here to talk about what we're going to do for you. And first of all, that's the way you start off a conversation. Black folk have this nasty, disgusting habit of having politicians running as a damn charity. This man got to get out there and go fight AIPAC, and we want him to run on hopes and dreams. We're lined up at the Gucci store. We lined up at the Nike store. We lined up at the Beyonce concert, and our politicians are begging white folk for money. That's ridiculous. Now, there is a defect in the society right there. Jewish politicians do not have to beg they folk for money. They don't have to beg them for financing. They're going to be fully financed, fully funded, fully ready for bear. People come up to them and say, here's what we gonna do for you. Ehud, Goldstein, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, here's what we gonna do for you. So she already knows what she got to do when she gets there. because her people came to her and said, we know why the hell we here. We didn't show up to you with just a list of demands. Dr. Claude Anderson said politics is about people. Y'all have not paid attention to my first documentary, 7 a.m. Dr. Claude Anderson said it in the documentary. Politics is quid pro quo, this for that. One hand washes the other. You're not supposed to be running up on your damn politicians talking about, well, you public servants and y'all need to scratch our damn backs. Meanwhile, he got ticks and flies on his. You send your politicians out there unarmed, underpowered, underserved, and then want them to fight the damn world like Bruce Lee in the 5 Faces of Death. So I'm not going to approach any politician sitting up here talking about, we's here to tell you what you're going to do for us. Like, first of all, let me tell you what we're going to do for you. First of all, let me say that we are useful. That's the first thing I want you to be aware of. I didn't come here to nag or beg. I don't come from the nag or beg or charity world. I come from the business world. I did not come here to nag or beg. I came here to tell you what I'm going to do for you. Hey, I'm useful. I can make some things happen here. I've got a bit of a social and media personality and knowledge that you may not have. While you've been hanging out in Albany at the damn sock hop at the Hilton with Alvin Bragg and them chasing the chicks in the miniskirts. So I came to talk about what we're going to do for you. And the first thing we're going to do for you is make sure that you understand that we're serious, but that we didn't come empty-handed. Now, that's the first thing we're going to do for you. We didn't come empty-handed. After that, he already knows what he needs to do for us. But the first thing we got to do is let politicians know we're serious. And serious does not come begging and talking about here's what we need. They already know what we need. You notice how Jason just sped past that? I haven't said a word about what he gonna do for us. He already knows what he needs to do. Folks, let's stop playing dumb. Every politician in America knows what the black vote wants right now. Every single one of them knows it's economics. What you saw in the last election, Kamala Harris, what did they say about? They sent D.L. Hughley and Steve Harvey talking about black businesses. Oh, we don't want jobs. We don't want to hear about the job training thing. Yeah, black folks are on the entrepreneurial economic thing, the entrepreneurial thing. Damn, these niggas woke up. They want that type of power. They want the foundation of the power. They know this. All, A-L-L, every single one, 100%, they know this. And they're scared to death to do that part because at that point, now you're free. Now you start calling hands. Yeah, that's what we want. Dr. King said it 50 years ago. Yeah, we want that. So what we can do for you is we can give you support and insight that you currently do not have. But we're just waiting to hear that you already know what needs to be done for us. But really, what's understood don't got to be explained, but we're just here to check and make sure you understand it. But no, sir, when I get on the phone with him, I'm here to talk about what I'm going to do for you. And what I'm going to do for you is give you support. That's what I'm going to do for you. Because right now you ain't got it. Let me say that one more time. I came here to discuss what I'm going to do for you. Well, what you going to do for me? I'm going to give you support because that's what you ain't got right now. You don't have it. You want to get some? Would you like to have some of that thing you ain't got right now? Oh, okay. Fortunately for you, you're on the phone with me already. Now we can discuss that thing you ain't got that I'm here to do for you. Y'all should see the look on her face right now. She's like, I'll be damned. She's like, never thought of it that way. I'll be damned. Yeah, when you're sitting around with a bunch of so-called community activists and begging-ass preachers, they don't talk like this. When you deal with folks who are used to dealing with bankers and CPAs, oh, it goes differently.
That's right.
I never walked in the bank talking about what I need is what I'm going to do for them. I already brought everything I need. I don't walk into a car dealership about what they going to do for me is what I'm going to do for you. On account of the fact I'm ready. you already know what you need to do for me. I'm here to let you know I'm serious. So, you go touch bases with Jamal, and then he can come touch bases with us. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. By the way, is Cori Bush out there anywhere? What? Hey, Cori, you might want to consider a political comeback, Cori. Damn. Hey, y'all, if somebody wants to get in touch with Cori's people, I will tell you all this right here tonight. I've been the hardest working, longest driving man in black society. I will go see Cori Bush. Damn. Auntie, chill. If Cori Bush wants to holler, let's get in touch with Cori Bush and see if she would like to discuss this political comeback. If Jamal wants to talk, we can go ahead and talk with Jamal and we can discuss having this political comeback. We can discuss that. We can sit down and chop it up and discuss having this political comeback if they're serious. So wherever Cori is, we can talk about that. Where Jamal is, we can talk about that. Where Nina Turner is, we can talk about that. Nina, we need more chocolate, luscious chocolatey goodness back in this thing here. We gotta get you straight on a few things first. Now we gotta get a few things straight now. But yes, sir. Make America chocolate again. Make America chocolate again. Absolutely, that's a slogan I can get behind right there. I can get right behind that one right there. So yes, and we can discuss what we're gonna do for you. We can discuss what we're going to do for you. Very important. The Democrats have aligned themselves. I want you all to understand that, yeah, it looks chaotic, but by the way, it actually isn't. They're doing exactly what I said. They're falling back and saying, look, let's wait for the dust to settle and the heat to die down so we can offer these Negroes the exact same bait and switch we've been offering. We're coming back with nothing new. Not a damn new thing. They're not offering anything new. They're just offering the same garbage to the elderly and the LGBT, and that's it. And so long as that's what they're doing, we ain't got nothing to discuss and we don't have anything to talk about. We're not here to discuss the same old, same old. You're not going to bring us back the same old reheated oatmeal. The same warmed over reheated oatmeal. We're not going to eat it. We told you what is on the menu. Black empowerment is on the menu. You say that we're not motivated. You know why the hell we're not motivated. You're hoping that Donald Trump is offensive enough that we'll give up on the things we really want. And well, he's offensive. Damn that. You're offensive. And until you start changing your vocabulary and language and start talking like us, we ain't gonna have it. Let's be clear on something right now, people. And I've said this before. Donald Trump doesn't care whether or not what he says is outrageous. He believes in letting his people know that he is supporting their interests. He is unapologetic, uncut, and unfiltered about supporting their interests. Here's number one thing. He don't give a damn who he offends. Meanwhile, we got black politicians trying to preach to us about, well, we can't be too offensive. Meanwhile, the guy in the damn White House offends every second person he speaks to. And the folk who talking about us are afraid of offending anybody except us. Oh yeah, I'm sorry that I'm left out. They're afraid of offending everyone except us. We're the only ones they're not worried about offending. They're not worried about offending us. They don't mind telling us to pack up your ass and carry it. Don't be asking me for nothing. You don't need anything. All you need is Medicaid and some job training. That's what the hell you need. But the stuff we said over here is like, no, we need more than that. Well, yeah, you don't really need. That would offend other people. Well, Trump is pushing an agenda that offends every damn body. What? So you telling us that You're not afraid to offend us, but you're afraid to offend other people on behalf of us. And Trump is going for revolutionary stuff. He's talking about removing the Department of Education. Get rid of he's looking at whole government departments and saying, let's throw this out, let's throw that out, let's throw this out. That's revolutionary. Then coming to us and telling us, oh, we can't, that would be too radical. Too radical? So all of a sudden, when it comes to promoting LGBT, y'all are fearless. When we show up, all of a sudden, there's something different. It's like, okay, yeah, we cool on y'all. We're cool on you because we recognize the damn game. We're cool on you. And we're just not going to fall for it anymore. So good luck winning anything without us. Since you decided you don't need that, it's like, okay, since you decided you don't need it, you're not going to have it. You have decided that you don't need it, therefore you will not have it. That's what that's going to be. That's what that's going to be. Yes, we're going to create some awkward moments. We're going to create some awkward moments. So we'll wait to see if folk get back to me. Still waiting to hear from Dr. Cornel West. What? Yeah, remember the brother before the election. But wait, Jason, we can get in touch with Cornel. I said Cornel knows who the hell I am. He's always known who the hell I am. He hasn't shown up here not because he made a mistake. Cornel West does not want to talk to Jason Black because he knows what Jason Black wants to talk about. And Cornel does not want to discuss that because I'm not a fanboy looking for a damn photo op. That's what scares them. They look for a bunch of niggas out here who are looking to get their status up. Ooh, if I take a picture on the stage with Cornel West, that means I'm serious. Damn, taking a picture with you, Cornel. I don't want any pictures with you. I want an understanding with you. That you're on board with our agenda. Cornel is not part of our agenda. So that's why I told him, by the way, yeah, go ahead and bring Cornel over here. Don't be surprised when, as soon as you mention my name, don't be surprised when Cornel stops talking. Don't be surprised when Cornel stops talking once you mention my name. It's like, oh, that guy with the serious agenda. Yeah, let's not do that because Jason Black will ask questions that my fanboys and ass kissers will not ask. You know, questions like, by the way, who is reparations for? Questions like, by the way, how does supporting illegal aliens benefit us? Tell me specifically how it benefits us. No. Not no slogans. Tell me specifically what I get. What do I get from it? Oh, all of a sudden, folks gonna start getting real meepish and real awkward and real silent. So please understand, everybody in politics knows Jason Black, Kamala Harris, Jamal Bowman. I'm pretty sure Jamal knows who I am too. All the rest of them know, but they're afraid. They're afraid because, like, yeah, this other agenda over here that the folk y'all been mobbing with might not be backing. Here's my thing. We need to have a solution for that also. We got to have a solution for that too. We cannot sit here with folk who are working against us and we are impotent to be able to do anything about that. We got to have a solution for that too. And that's why I'm in favor of making some damn awkward moments. We got to have some solutions for that too. But it is very, very difficult to organize and to be able to discuss solutions with a political class that sees itself as at war against you. And that their enemy is not the Republicans. Their enemy is the black electorate. We don't have to defeat Trump. The Democrats don't think they have to defeat Trump. They think they got to defeat us. So for the folks who are still on that time, yeah, that's where we gonna get up off the block and get out the paint. But I'm ready. I'm ready. Who wants to make this road trip? I'm ready. So if Jamal wants to do this damn thing, I just came. By the way, folks, I've been to New York so many damn times in the last couple of years. I'm actually getting less anxiety about going through them damn tolls and whatnot. What? I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've been to New York so many damn times in the last 2 or 3 years. I'm actually a little less anxious and a little less bothered by the drudgery of getting through the tunnels. Usually coming up from Louisiana, you usually end up going through the Lincoln Tunnel. You usually the way I take, you usually come up through the Lincoln Tunnel. I try to avoid Holland now, but I usually end up coming through the Lincoln Tunnel. But I've done it so many damn times now, I'm a little less anxious about it, I guess. So who knows? New York is bothering me a little bit less. So I'm like, okay, we got time for that. In the chat room, Brian Risso needs to be on Zoom. Brian, you got 2 minutes to be on Zoom, Brian. Let's go ahead and get Brian up here on Zoom. Brian is very, very angry and very, very upset about something here. So Brian Rizzo needs to go ahead and contact us on Zoom. Brian's got 2 minutes to be on Zoom here. Brian, let's go ahead and toss this up and chop it up right quick. Brian's got a few thoughts. He wants to educate us about what we've been supporting here. So Brian's got 2 minutes to go ahead and be on Zoom. Very glad you mentioned that. By the way here, folks, this is what separates the real from the phony. This is what separates the internet trolls and jackasses from the real damn thing. He wants to say something here. Very glad he said that. Very glad you said that. Let's go ahead and let the public hear whether or not you're a credible source of criticism or not. Very glad you brought that up. Very glad you decided to say that. Now let's see if he's actually got any integrity and will stand by his principles. You said that. The person who said that, let's find out how much integrity he got. Certainly, since he said that, he has no problem clicking the Zoom link and bossing up, so that he can go ahead and let the public know exactly where he stands and why what he said was perfectly logical and rational. Why he said that statement, he's certainly not going to embarrass himself or anybody else with that position by ghosting and not showing up. Now that he has an opportunity to actually talk directly to the host and directly to the audience, why surely he's not going to destroy his own credibility and insult his second grade teacher by showing that by what an idiot he would be. Certainly he wouldn't do that. Certainly he's going to stand 10 toes down for it and substantiate what he just said. He's not going to embarrass anybody who would say such a thing by showing them, by the way, oh boy, let me get up out of here. Because that's the caliber of the folks who say that right there. It's like, oh man, I got to go, man. You always spare my bedtime. Oh look, they comedies, Cartoon Network is on. Let me get back over here. Yes, sir. It gets rough on them when they try that. Now, this is the thing I love about the internet here. If somebody says something there, I can call them out directly. It's like, oh, no throwing rocks and hiding your hands. If you gonna say that, you come on up here so everybody can hear the caliber of the individual who would say that and find out if they actually agree with you. If you actually think that what you're saying is valid, then you should have no problem stepping up to the bar and showing everybody that that's what you agree with. You can substantiate it. Certainly you can. Hey, folks, he ain't showed up yet. We're still waiting. You see, when you actually have a principled position, this isn't the way you respond. If what you were saying were actually true, this is not the way you respond when what you're saying is actually accurate and true. You don't do this part right here. This is the part that you don't do. When it's actually true and accurate, you never do this part right here. Because now you're destroying your own position in your own statement. If you will not defend it, it's like, well, if you won't defend that, then why should anybody else? If it was actually something solid, you should be thrilled to get up and say, hey, here's what it is, and let me show that. There's nobody between you and me, no call screeners, no filters. All you got to do is go ahead and hit the button, sit back, smile, and dial. And you can go ahead and prove your point. Oh, he's not eager to do so. And one more thing, you see, you got to understand that internet idiots, you're not, even though the Donald Trump is a dunce his damn self, you're not going to be able to defeat anybody like him when you can't even stand by your own statements? What the hell? If you want to know why Donald Trump's whooping your ass, not ours, he's whooping yours, is because, by the way, you won't even stand by your own statements. You can criticize Trump, but you won't even stand by it. So no wonder he's running the tables. His opposition is cowardly and scared of him. You won't even stand by your own statements. That tells you a lot. That's the difference between us and everybody else. See, Roland Martin would be running scared from that. And it's not going to happen over here. Not going to happen over here. We ain't worried about a damn thing. Everything we said, we will stand by. Completely, to the damn finish, to the fullest. You wish you had that type of integrity. You wish you had that. You wish you had the ability to have a position that had integrity that you could stand on. You wish you could do that. So don't worry when you grow up and take off your Huggies. When you take off your Huggies, it goes a little bit different. It goes a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight since Brian is not there. I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who's contributed to a nice program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. My man, Mr. Waits, thank you very much for your support. Mark B., my man, Mr. Baker, thank you very much for your support as well. Also, Najee and everyone else here tonight, we appreciate that. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, some holidays and days in between. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, go check out our groundbreaking, best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified Race Wars, soon to be 8 a.m., blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.